Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma.
This hour is brought to you by Goldberg and Jones.
Give me a freaking auto!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
Brock Heward and Matt Marcus. Sorry about Mike.
Heward, not exactly Joe Cap there in the pocket.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Heward and Mike Salk.
Well, happy Friday. No Brock, no Salk, no matter. We have quite a show for you today. We have a debut. I'm talking about MLB season openers, a lot of debuts that happen. Well, today, you get me, Mike Lefko. That's not exciting. I've been here before. But a guy making his debut on this show, and here right now at 6 o'clock, and it doesn't need to wait till 7 like some of these other co-hosts who come in. Charlie Furbush is here. Good morning, Charlie.
Good morning, Mike. Good morning, Seattle. I'm so good to be here. I'm just excited to talk all Mariner things this morning.
I love it. Maura, we were trying to figure out. We're like, all right, well, Charlie's in. Probably going to come in at 7 like most of the guests do. And what did you say? No, I'm ready to roll. Why wouldn't I come at 6?
You
Let's
and
talk
Ryan
baseball.
Roland Smith.
Yeah.
Everybody else, they just do the Brock roll and come in at 7.
You are the first. Congrats to work a full show.
I
life of a
am
reliever.
honored. Exactly. I am. You call me whenever you need me. I can always come in and clean up a mess, get the job done.
All right, perfect. Well, we have 4 hours of
everyone
radio.
watching on YouTube, there's something weird going on with your camera, Lefko. I'm going to try to fix it, but Charlie's the only one they can see right now.
Well, I think people would prefer that. So
It's okay.
Okay, if you can't
I
see
did
me
shower
right
this
now,
morning, so,
it was intentional. Can I just say real quick that because it was your big debut and you knew that we would be on a stream, even though primarily we're on radio, I caught you doing what earlier today? Trying to get that fit.
I was trying to, make sure everything looked good because it's part of the gig, man. You got to look good, feel good, play good, right?
Yeah.
That's where we're at.
I mean, based on yesterday, you had Salk and Ryan Divish. You are probably the best well-groomed person on this show now this week. So congrats.
Tone setter.
Charlie's bringing the tone. He's setting the tone here. We do have a lot to get to because, hey, it was opening day yesterday, a very anticipated opening day. It felt strange in a sense, and we'll get your thoughts throughout the show as well. 866-979-3776. How that opening day felt, what stood out to you, the fans, maybe what stood out to you, Charlie, and more as well as we get through this. We'll have Shannon Drayer joining us at 8:30 to help break it all down. But, when you talk about opening day, it feels like there's always this sense of excitement because hope springs eternal. But for the Mariners, they were already in a place where you didn't really need hope. You're kind of there. So at least for me, it felt like a different opening day in the sense of just wanted the game to get here. I wasn't as excited with all the buildup and all the lead up of, this is a fun moment again. The season's beginning. And I'm not sure if it was because the previous season went so long. You go all the way into mid-October. You get to Game 7 of the ALCS. That this kind of felt like a continuation. But something almost felt off in the sense of the pomp and circumstance of opening day. I was just ready for the game. Nothing to say all the things in the past and the pageantry aren't good. So I don't know how you felt. If it was different for you, if it was the same, or if you were just ready for the baseball to take place compared to in years past.
I'm going to say it's definitely different. I felt the excitement as soon as the day hits. I can, this is obviously, as a former player, you really kind of take in that feeling of feeling like a 12-year-old kid again. And you're hanging with your team, and it's the first day of hopefully a really awesome journey you're going to go on to hopefully bring the team to where the Mariners have never been before. And, I understand the continuation of last year and what had happened and the excitement of that, but this is a brand new year, and everything that happened last year, there's nothing you can do about it. So I feel this actually new sense of urgency that the guys in the team are ready to take it to the next level, and they're not going to be satisfied with anything but that. So you can feel the energy, you can feel the buzz, and what a sight it was in T-Mobile. I just feel like the Mariners just do it better than almost anyone in the league when it comes to opening day.
Yeah, I was more just like, okay, and I think this is a carryover from spring training. I just was ready to be done with spring training to get to an actual game and have results to talk about. And we do. We have a result. It's a 6-4 loss, so it puts a pall on all the excitement of opening day. But when you think about it, right, hey, it's one game. People hate saying that. But look, after last year, at this point, the Mariners were 1-0. They come out on that Friday, they get shut out. So they could do the very same thing the opposite way. Today, you win, you shut out the Guardians, you're 1-1. They've been 1-1 the past 2 seasons. All right, it's tough, puts kind of a damper on the festivities, but I think I was more just focused on, like, let's get to this because there's so much anticipation. But yes, I shouldn't be that downer on everything that led up to it because I was still excited. I think in the past, though, Charlie, it's more of I'm excited to see how the team looks because there are a lot of questions, and it feels like this is a good problem. There weren't a lot of questions for me. Was there anything that you wanted to see yesterday that you were still curious about from spring training? Or was it just kind of reaffirming, like, okay, Brandon Donovan's good. Hey, we have this long line of, hey, Logan Gilbert, we want to see what he has this year. What was your kind of takeaway going into this game coming off of spring training?
Yeah, I mean, opening day is so special, not only for everyone in the organization, but specifically the players. And it does bring an interesting feeling because opening day there's only one opening day, that's the one thing you will always know is that the show that goes into opening day, and rightfully so, only happens on opening day. So yeah, there is this maybe letdown when you don't win that game, but you play 162 games, and at the end of the year, no one's going to remember or care what happened in game 1, right? It's like what happens at the over the course of the season. And, ultimately, are you going to win more games than you lose and set yourself up in that way? So, but what stuck out to me for me was just, seeing Logan Gilbert's presence on the mound. I was really, excited to see him get back out there, earn that opening day start. He does so much on and off the field to set the tone for that rotation, and to come out and, only made a few mistakes, but I really thought he looked sharp, game 1, day 1 of the season, with all of his pitches, no walks, 7 strikeouts. So I was just really impressed by what I saw from Logan to set the tone, because I think when this team is really going well, a big reason is how that rotation is pitching. And, it really starts at the top with Logan. So I was really excited to see him, and obviously it didn't work out last night. But, I think hearing Logan in the postgame talk about how he was feeling about the approach, it's just like, yeah, I made a couple mistakes and they capitalized on it, but I generally felt good, and I think that I'm continuing to see like a better version of Logan every time we go out. So yeah, that was definitely exciting to see for me.
I know there was a lot of consternation about ABS challenge and non-challenge, specifically Cal Raleigh there in the 8th, and we'll get to that a little bit at 7:30, including some lingering questions maybe about, okay, Spire, why is he staying in to pitch against Jose Ramirez? I'm not going to question bullpen decisions this early in the season. And also, there's good reason that we'll get to at 7:30. But just out of all those things, was there anything that kind of gave you a puzzling, all right, well, that was surprising to me?
Oh, the ABS for sure. I think, as spring training happened, there was, hey, go check out the challenge system and try and figure out the strike zone. Pitchers, hitters, catchers, all the things. Try to figure it out. And, you saw a little more aggressiveness in spring training, and I think that's the thing that once the games are real and they're live and they mean everything, you're like, oh, we only have 2 challenges. Mm-hmm. So how do we use these effectively? And I think that not just, you mentioned the Cal at-bat, but I think there are other pitches that happened in last night's game that, the hitter was like, I want to challenge, but I don't want to, I'm not really sure, but it's really close and I feel like challenging. So I think what will happen is, saving them to the end may be the initial approach, but it feels as if being a little more aggressive and trying to figure that system out on the fly by being aggressive maybe will be more advantageous in the long term than being like, all right, we're going to save them till the 9th in hopes that the closer comes in and throws a couple questionable calls and we can extend an at-bat, where it may be more valuable in that 3rd, 4th inning to extend the at-bat when there's runners on 2nd and 3rd, 2 outs, right? I think there's a variety of ways this is going to unfold, but to me, I look at the ABS system as one. I love it. I think it's going to be a great addition to the game, but how to use it effectively will be very fun to watch this year. And I think last night you saw maybe a little more timidness of how to use that on the Mariners side of things. And unfortunately, it didn't work out, but I think you'll see a more aggressive approach in the future.
Yeah, ABS strategy will be a huge talking point, certainly in the early part of this season. We're going to dive into it a lot more as well coming up at 7:30. We're rolling along here on Brock and Salk. Mike Lefko and Charlie Furbush with you. And coming up next, one guy for the Mariners made Mariners history yesterday. That is coming up. Everything you need to know. Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
It's the biggest development yet since the Sonics left for OK.
Wait a minute.
You better watch your mouth, sunshine.
One step closer.
The NBA Board of Governors did vote yes to explore expansion here in Seattle.
Stay up on the very latest on the NBA's potential return to Seattle at seattlesports.com. And the conversation continues on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
We are on a magic carpet ride.
If you actually are the person that will take care of them after the fact, if you actually will be there for them, if you will pick up your phone, then they come back to you.
Lee Johnson Auto Family, the LJ way.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
ZipRecruiter. Old windows cost you money and security. Lake Washington Windows and Doors installs energy-efficient, high-security windows that lower your bills and increase protection. With leak armor installation and lifetime warranties, you're protected for life. Choose LakeWashingtonWindows.com today.
Running a business means wearing multiple hats. So if you're like me, you probably started out using your personal phone, taking client calls and texts nonstop. As my business grew, I needed something smarter. That's when I switched to Quo, the #1 business phone system. Quo works right on your phone or computer. No carrying 2 phones, no clunky landline, just one easy app you can try for free. Your team can share one number and handle calls and texts together like a shared inbox. Any teammate can jump into the conversation, so customers get faster responses. And Quo's AI assistant summarizes your calls and responds to customers 24/7, so you never miss a lead or opportunity. All this starts at just $15 a month. That's basically 2 coffees. You can even keep your current business phone number. Find out why 90,000 businesses trust Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try Quo for free at quo.com/sports. That's quo.com/sports to try Quo free. QUO.com/SPORTS.
Evan Cohen here. In life, as in sports, the pros make it look easy. That's why pro golfers like Jason Day, Ben Griffin, and Patton Kazire trust the pros in lawn care. True Green. They have the experience and expertise to give you a lawn worthy of the PGA Tour. And since True Green does the work for you, you get more free time, or more tee times. So stop stressing over your lawn and start loving it. Sign up now at TrueGreen.com because nobody makes it easier to get a golf course quality lawn than True Green, the official lawn care treatment provider of the PGA Tour.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, U.S. Tax Shield can help you take back control. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Our team of tax attorneys can stop collections and get you protected. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the BBB, so call 800-494-6139. U.S. Tax Shield, 800-494-6139. Wesley is a truck driver.
I drive a truck, and I love what I do.
A truck driver with IRS troubles.
They told me I owed them $43,000.
It got really bad.
Quite a few letters in the mail. They were talking about wage garnishment, coming after my house, my car. Yeah, they don't play around. I seriously thought that I was going to lose everything.
One sleepless night, Wesley finally made a call to Optima Tax Relief at 2 a.m.
Kind of figured I'd get a machine, but I didn't. I actually got to talk to an actual person in the middle of the night.
He found just what he was looking for.
Oh, they were great people. You need a team of people that know what they're doing. Optima Tax, they know what they're doing.
Optima Tax Relief came through with flying colors.
I saved an incredible amount of money. Happy don't even come close. I was absolutely overjoyed.
Take Wesley's advice.
If you're in any kind of trouble with the IRS, call Optima Tax Relief. Don't trust anybody else.
Call Optima for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
This hour is brought to you by Goldberg and Jones.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Presented by Marquee Data. Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Well, Brendan Donovan's already making history. He became the first ever player in Mariners history. And now 50 seasons, we know, 50 seasons. They're celebrating their 50th season this year. So in the now 50 seasons of Mariners baseball, Brendan Donovan became the first player to ever do this, hit a leadoff home run on opening day.
He's the leadoff hitter for your ball club. The windup and the pitch on the way to Donovan. Swinging a well-hit ball deep to right field. Stay fair, stay fair. It is gone. Goodbye, baseball. Welcome to Seattle. Brendan Donovan in his first at-bat in the Mariners uniform. Ties the game at 1-1. Can you believe that? Right down the right field line, up by the Hit It Here Cafe. Yes, indeed, what an acquisition by the Mariners. Brendan Donovan gets his first trident at the dugout and gets a standing ovation from a sellout crowd here at T-Mobile Park.
Charlie, can you think of any better way to start your Mariners tenure after so much excitement around this guy to begin with this offseason as well?
Man, that was so cool. And hearing that Riz call, too, just like, that was such a great way to start the game. And I think everyone is going to, what we saw from Donovan last night is the ball player I think you're going to get, and that's going to be an immense value to this lineup. What a sight to see. So I couldn't be more happy with the acquisition of Brendan Donovan, and what he did last night was just a great start to hopefully his long Mariners career.
And then Cal, his first pitch right after, almost goes back to back. That place, everyone, it would have, it's cliche to say the roof would have been blown off the stadium, but it was a moonshot. The place already just rocking back and forth because of what Donovan did. By the way, it was funny watching Brendan Donovan. We know he's business-like. He just wants to get to work like Josh Naylor and win baseball games. I was curious to see what he would do with the trident. Julio gave it to him. He held it up and walked right in. No celebration, no stopping and raising it for the fans. Just carried it right into the dugout. The man just wants to win baseball games. So I admire that. What a start for Brendan Donovan. Added a double as well. We know it wasn't enough. Outside of the results, the Mariners do lose 6-4. There was some news yesterday. So Mariners President of Business Operations, Kevin Martinez, was on with Wyman and Bob. He announced that the Mariners will be moving their start time on September 9th. This was a big question that came out when the NFL a couple days ago said, hey, the Seahawks are opening the season on Wednesday, September 9th. Oh, wait, there's a Mariners game at 6:40, also on September 9th. Well, Kevin Martinez says they are planning to accommodate the Seahawks.
So now the Hawks are going to play on that evening, the 9th, and they reached out to us and said, hey, would you be willing to move your game to a day game? And, I said, well, if the city of Seattle will work with you guys and us to do that, of course. This is incredibly special for the Hawks and the city of Seattle and fans. So I think it will be an incredible day of sports in Seattle, because if we're doing what we think we're doing, that Wednesday afternoon will be a meaningful game against the Texas Rangers. And then to be able to walk across the street after the Mariners take care of the Rangers and watch the Hawks unveil a Super Bowl champion banner and get after it, that's going to be a pretty memorable day in Seattle as well.
Ready for the double dip?
Oh, yeah.
You're going to go to both?
Why wouldn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you go to any of those games? We had the double dip, the game 2 of the ALDS. It was Seahawks-Bucks first, and then everyone walked over. Mariners-Tigers. There was a little apprehension because the Mariners are down 0-1 in the series facing Tarek Skubal. No matter. They win. Even up the series. Never look back. We're going to have something like that. Seahawks open the season on Wednesday night. The Mariners will play the Rangers before. That's going to be a very, very fun day.
Super cool. And how cool is it that the Seahawks celebrate the 50th anniversary and they go ahead and win the Super Bowl? Now the Mariners are celebrating their 50th anniversary. Could they go ahead and win the World Series?
I like where your head's at.
I like it. I think there's some parallels.
We'll certainly have a much better picture on September 9th when all this happens.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
All right, well, the early slate of Sweet 16 games yesterday delivered in thrilling fashion, including the number 2 seed Purdue taking the lead over Texas with less than a second left in the game.
Dreams are a reality right now. Braden Smith with the ball. Clock ticks. Down to 6. Down to 5. Smith shaking. Bacon. Smith puts it up. No! The throw! It's good! With .7 left. Trey Kaufman-Wren has given Purdue the lead. A chance at the last shot. It's up. No good. Purdue advances.
To anyone that was at Hatback still watching that, I apologize if you heard me yelling.
Yeah, that's okay. First off, can we give some credit to the announcer for
Brian Anderson
dropping a shake and bake there at the end?
He is very good. He's one of the best around. He's the TV voice of the Brewers as well. So
Perfect.
yeah, you're high on Arizona. They crushed Arkansas. Were you locked in at all, or you're getting ready for baseball like most normal people were yesterday?
Yeah, I peeked at it a little bit, but mostly watching all baseball, all Mariner things. But yeah, I'm all in on the Arizona Wildcats.
All right,
as they say, bear down.
Well, Arizona, Purdue tomorrow in the Elite Eight, and now while that was happening, that Purdue Iowa game, the 9 seed or Purdue Texas, the 9 seed Iowa wrapping up a win over Nebraska. There was a play late in the game. Iowa kind of sealed it. Nebraska only had 4 players on the court. They were missing a player. Iowa took advantage, had a dunk, sealed the game. So a lot of drama in the basketball world as well. A big game tonight for all the basketball fans out there. Duke and St. John's tips at 4:10 to begin the final slate of 4 games in the Sweet 16.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
All right, Charlie, back to what everyone cared about yesterday, baseball. It was opening day. A couple other results in the division last night. The Astros mustered just 3 hits, shut out 3-0 in the loss to the Angels. The Rangers also lost, so it's the Angels who sit alone in first place. A's don't start the season until later today. They're in Toronto. How about that? Everyone loses except the Angels in the AL West.
Yeah, I think the Angels are maybe sitting at the bottom of the AL West at the end of the season. So, whatever. It's always fun to see the Texas teams lose. I think that's what I always enjoy.
It was. I know we always say, look, don't read too much into opening day results, but it was very soothing, I guess, or Schadenfreude to see the Astros just get 3 hits and look kind of lifeless and then lose to what we expect will be a terrible Angels team. And they could very well go on and win the series, just like we're talking about the Mariners. Hey, they dropped the opener here last night. Yeah, 3 more games left against the Guardians. But in that one moment, to look at Houston doing that, it was very fun to say, well, the Astros don't look very good. One thing that we had been tracking as well, or people in the baseball world is tracking as well. So, Charlie, did you know that Tyler O'Neill had an opening day streak of 6 straight years the home run? It came to an end yesterday. Now, the Orioles outfielder went 1 for 2 with a walk and a run scored, and O'Neill's streak included here against the Mariners. He was on the Red Sox in 2024, hit a home run. He had an opening day record, 6 years of the home run. That's over now.
Pretty cool.
All the joy in the baseball world's gone.
Former Mariner,
yeah.
Yeah.
So there is everything you need to know. One more thing you need to know. The Kraken win in overtime in Tampa. They're only 0-8-2 all time, though, Maura, so don't get too excited. You put that they beat my Lightning last night. They did. They did beat the Lightning. They got 2 points. Lightning got 1 point. Kraken 3 points out of the final playoff spot in the West with 11 games left in the season.
It's the sports town, Mike.
There's a lot happening. March is one of the best months in sports. So we always kind of talk about it. But when you had the Kraken last night, you had college basketball going on. You had the NBA news a couple nights ago. You have the Mariners opening day. It's just it's overwhelming in a good way. This is peak sports, man. What could you ask for? That's why we're talking about it for 4 hours here on a Friday morning. We got plenty more coming up as well. There's a really interesting conversation yesterday from Ryan Divish and Mike Salk here with Mariners GM Justin Hollander. A lot of important injury updates and some news kind of moving forward on what to expect from Emerson Hancock. He's going to make a handful of starts, some of those bullpen questions, and much more. You'll hear that conversation coming up next. Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
It's the biggest development yet since the Sonics left for OK.
Wait a minute. You better watch your mouth, sunshine.
One step closer.
The NBA Board of Governors did vote yes to explore expansion here in Seattle.
Stay up on the very latest on the NBA's potential return to Seattle at seattlesports.com. And the conversation continues on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
We are on a magic carpet ride.
Hi, Sarah here with Safeway. We're proud to partner with Champions of Change co-founder Doug Baldwin to help nourish Washington students through the Nourishing Champions program.
Thanks, Sarah. And here's the reality. Every day, students across our state are staying after school for extracurriculars on empty stomachs, and some of them don't know where their next meal will come from. Food insecurity is reaching crisis levels, and the impact on our youth will extend far beyond this moment. The good news is that there's an answer in the federally funded after-school meals programs. But right now, Washington schools' participation is very low, reaching only 2% of the students who qualify.
That's where Nourishing Champions comes in. We're offering grants that not only fund food, but also resource and training support for the schools to offer an after-school meal program for years to come.
Our goal is to reach 10,000 more students in the first year of these grants and then grow from there. School staff can learn more and apply today at championsofchangefoundation.org and navigating to the Nourishing Champions tab. That's championsofchangefoundation.org and click on the Nourishing Champions tab.
Step inside and let the excitement take you places. This is Muckleshoot Casino Resort, the ultimate spot for action that reaches incredible heights, luxury that knows no bounds, and live entertainment that always thrills. It's all at one incredible destination. So when you look for the best, look nowhere else. Muckleshoot Casino Resort, the biggest and best in the Northwest. Muckleshoot.
Your old water heater's starting to peter. DayandNight.net. Day and Night has $150 off installation of any new water heater, including tankless, backed by a free lifetime warranty.
Hi, I'm Bruce. When your old water heater leaks or fails, the damage could be catastrophic. Whether you need an emergency replacement or you're planning ahead before it leaks, give us a call and we'll help you get into hot water again.
Get $150 off installation of any new water heater.
DayandNight.net. Running a business means wearing multiple hats. So if you're like me, you probably started out using your personal phone, taking client calls and texts nonstop. As my business grew, I needed something smarter. That's when I switched to Quo, the #1 business phone system. Quo works right on your phone or computer. No carrying 2 phones, no clunky landline, just one easy app you can try for free. Your team can share one number and handle calls and texts together like a shared inbox. Any teammate can jump into the conversation, so customers get faster responses. And Quo's AI assistant summarizes your calls and responds to customers 24/7, so you never miss a lead or opportunity. All this starts at just $15 a month. That's basically 2 coffees. You can even keep your current business phone number. Find out why 90,000 businesses trust Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try Quo for free at quo.com/sports. That's quo.com/sports to try Quo free. QUO.com/SPORTS.
At Valvoline Instant Oil Change, we perform an 18-point maintenance check with every oil change to help make sure you're good to go.
And?
Yeah, you're good to go.
Huh. Wonder why the dealership isn't that easy.
Well, we'd let you know if we found something in our check.
Oh, great. That was easy.
Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Quick, thorough, and honest. Come with no charge.
Listen every day to the Bump and Stacy Show for headline rewrites. Powered by Bay Alarm Security Services. Security systems and fire alarms for every business. Bay Alarm, we got you.
Hold on tight. We've got prizes so big, they'll make your head spin. Win up to $10,000 in cash every Saturday night in March at Silver Reef. With 2 new winners drawn every hour from 6:30 to 11:30, you're sure to have luck on your side. Claim 1 free Spin to Win entry every day. Don't forget, your Reef Rewards card can save you up to 25 cents per gallon at Lummi Bay Market next to Silver Reef. Silver Reef Casino Resort, located off I-5 exit 260.
And we're back.
The big headline today, your Washington Credit Union WSECU has done it again.
5 straight years as Forbes' best in-state credit union. That's a dynasty, Rick, like 5 straight championship rings.
Or 5 seasons hitting 400, Steve.
Holy catfish. If you want a team that wins year after year, join your Washington Credit Union, WSECU. Details at WSECU.org.
Did you know in Washington State, you can see a physical therapist without a referral from your doctor? That's right. Thanks to Direct Access, you can skip the wait and get the care you need right away. Shannon O'Kelly, how has Direct Access changed the game?
Direct Access for us, Brock, is a game changer. Why? Is because there is so much research and data out there that says if you get in early when you have a musculoskeletal problem or an injury, the earlier you get in and we can start care, the better outcomes and the decreased downstream cost, okay? So it's so important. Our providers are all doctors of physical therapy. They're all trained to identify situations and problems. They've got the skill, they've got the talent, they've got the knowledge. If you get in and start therapy early, we're going to get you back to activity, pain-free, and moving and having fun.
Fast, easy, effective. Direct Access is your path to better movement, starting with a single step. Visit irgpt.com to schedule your appointment today. irgpt.com.
Brock and Salk's Rewind is presented by Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
It's opening day. That's right. It's opening day in Seattle. And later tonight, we'll get to see this 2026 Mariners team for the first time. It is the most complete-looking Mariner team I've ever seen, that's for sure. Ryan Divish is with me for another hour and a half. We'll take some phone calls in an hour. Ryan's already getting ready to blow you up, so please make sure you come with it. But first, we'll talk to Justin Hollander, Mariners general manager. Good morning, Justin. Happy opening day.
Good morning. I can't wait to call back in at 9:30 as well.
You've done it before. It wouldn't be the first time. I don't know. Ryan is going to be, well, we'll see. We'll see how many callers we actually let him talk to because we actually have to keep people listening to the show.
Angering your audience is not usually the way to get more of it, but we'll see how it goes.
I don't know. It's worked for me for 17 years. I don't know why we should stop now. What are you most excited about as you watch this team take the field tonight? What are you most excited to see play out?
Games that matter, so we don't have to talk about spring training anymore. But no, it's I think every opening day is really special. I can't help but just take a peek back at last year and seeing the banner up in right field is going to be really cool. And then just getting going. You know, it's going to be a long year. There's 162 games, and you guys have been around it a long time. We're going to have really good weeks and really bad weeks. And just watching this group navigate both of those things through the season, I think it's a really talented group. And we'll see how the ups and downs unfold, but can't wait to get going tonight to start that process.
Justin, is this I wouldn't say just from a talent standpoint, but the versatility and the options you have and kind of fitting your philosophical needs, is this the best roster you guys have put together since you've started here?
I think so. I think we have more ways to beat somebody than any roster we've had since I've been here. And when I say that, I mean we've had a lot of teams that could beat someone 3-1 or 2-1. We had some teams during, call it like the 2019 team. That wasn't a very good team, but if they won the game, it was probably going to be like 9-6 or something like that, especially early in the season. This is the team that can do both of those things. We can win the 9-6 game. I think we can win the 2-1 game. We can win a lot of the games in between those things too. There's guys who can play multiple positions who are going to be good at multiple positions, not can just stand there. The bullpen can beat you in different ways, obviously, with adding Ferrer and having 2 lefties this year. 1 through 5, 1 through 6, 1 through 7 in the rotation is really good, really deep. I think we have prospects coming, and most of the team is in kind of the window that you would expect them to be at their peak, call it like 25 to 30, 31 years old. We have the bulk of the team in that age zone. So it's a really exciting group, and it's a group that I think that our fans really connect with because they've been here a long time. They're really good people. They're really good teammates. They have fun playing together.
Just some quick business. How close are JP and Bryce, 2 guys that weren't able to make the opening day roster?
JP is closer than Bryce. I would expect that it's possible that JP goes out on the road trip with us. It just depends on how it goes for him. He started taking at-bats yesterday in Arizona. He'll transition to taking at-bats with an affiliate over the next couple days. And just for him, it's just the reps. Bryce needs to have, somewhat of a spring training. He threw the 2 innings and then basically had to shut it down at that point to make sure we didn't do something that was really harmful to him. So Bryce is going to be a little longer. I don't think it's going to be like June or something like that, but he needs a spring training buildup. So we're hopeful that, call it a month from now, that Bryce is back and ready to go. JP, I'm hoping it's a week.
Who stood out in the spring? And I know what you said earlier that, spring doesn't matter and the numbers don't necessarily matter, but usually you baseball guys have something that you pick up on, an approach, something that stands out, the way someone's carrying themselves or reacting to something. Who jumped out to you over the course of the last month where you're like, okay, I can't wait to see this play out during the season?
I mean, I think it's always tempting to choose the new guys. So I'll choose one new guy and one existing guy. I think Brendan Donovan stood out. He's going to be on the medal stand for Cactus League MVP. He's just on base all the time. And the quality of at-bat over and over and over again, his ability to carry out a routine every day and then bring it into the game, even if the games don't count. He is very serious about his routine. He has a plan every time he goes up there, and he seems to have just a natural ability to execute it over and over again. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to watch him around the other players that we have and how difficult we can make it if we execute on opposing pitchers. And then the sort of existing player that I was really excited from what we saw this spring was Brian Wu. Just seeing his growth and maturity, his ability to go through his routine, to understand what that is, his leadership around the group of players, just really exciting to watch him grow up before our eyes.
Justin, what did you see from Emerson Hancock this spring? I thought for me, he was probably one of the most impressive guys I saw all spring. Just knowing where he's been, what he's been through, and kind of just what we saw this spring. And it wasn't just all on the mound, but like how he carried himself.
Yeah, on the mound, really excited about what his shapes look like right now and his ability to command those shapes. Definitely at a different level than we've seen in the past. He's got the 2 breaking balls now. He added a sort of a harder gyro slider that really helps when you've got the sinker, the 4-seamer, and the sweeper along with the changeup. And I thought he executed those pitches at a really high level all spring. And then off the field, I just think he's very confident of who he is right now. He's sort of done all the tinkering he needs to do, really confident in his pitch mix. He knows what his plan A is versus righties and lefties, and just seems very comfortable when he goes out there with, if I execute, I'm better than them. And that's a big step for guys to come in and know that they don't have to have a magic trick. They can just go execute the things that they're good at and they'll be fine.
I don't think people realize how good of he's your number 6 starter ostensibly. Most teams don't have somebody like that as their number 6 guy in their organization.
And I think you guys have been through this. The guy who may be the 6th guy may start more games than 1 through 5, depending on how it goes. That's starting pitching in today's game. Emerson took the ball for us and did really well last year, and he's going to pitch a lot for us this year.
Makes sense that Logan Gilbert is starting today. I don't think any of us were too surprised that Logan would be the opening day starter, especially after last year. So that makes sense. Excited to see him out there. Can you give me some of the rationale behind the rest of the pitching rotation and the order that they went in? Why Kirby and then Wu and then Luis and then Emerson? What was the thinking behind the order?
We drew them out of a hat.
Okay, nice.
And, no, it's I think some of the rationale was we wanted to delay Brian's start a little bit, obviously coming off the big workload that he had last year, larger than he ever had in a season. So if you remember right, when we folded him in the spring, it was kind of after everybody had already made one turn through. We folded him into the 3rd slot. That slot also gets an extra day early in the season. And then the Emerson, Luis behind them pocket just happened to be Luis had a baby and was, a little bit late coming into camp. So folding him in where he fits. Emerson was pitching roughly on the same day as Bryce, and it was just easiest to fold him into that day in the rotation. There's not a ton of science behind it, other than you want to make sure that the guys are lined up to go into the regular season and their first couple of starts with the appropriate amount of rest. I think we all know that this is the time of year when pitching injuries pop up the most frequently, and making sure that we're doing the right thing for all of our guys so that we can have 6 and hopefully 7 months of health and durability, and not trying to jam guys in to say, oh, he's the second guy and we have to pitch second. We don't really have that. We have a bunch of guys who could start opening day. We have guys that have all pitched in all-star games. So the order, I don't think, doesn't matter as much as the rest matters to us.
Justin, Julio Rodriguez is always going to be a focal point. I thought just what we saw out of him in the time we got to see him in spring training, but even towards the end last year, the identity of who he is as a baseball player and a hitter just stands out. What can he do, or what can he be if he puts a full season together?
As good as anybody. And I think that's been the case for Hollander. He kind of has been as good as anybody over the course of his career, but there's always this feeling, I think, among the media, among fans, that there's more to tap into, and that's probably both unfair to Julio and fair based on how talented he is. I think what we're seeing from Julio, and I heard a little bit of the most intriguing selection for Julio, is that he's still so young. He's just figuring out. Like, I was an idiot. I probably still am, but I was definitely an idiot when I was 24 years old. And now he's in his age 25 season. People forget how young he is and how he's sort of still figuring out his own routines and what kind of player he wants to be and what kind of player he can be. There's a lot of growth that's going to happen in Julio's career still. We shouldn't lose track of how good he has been and how young he is. He can do anything on a baseball field. I think if he wanted to go win a batting title and turn into that sort of hitter, he can do it. If he wanted to go win a home run title, he could go do it. He's already made himself into a Gold Glove elite center fielder, which is not something that anybody had on the bingo card when he was 18 or 19 years old. And he just did it. He just wills himself. He's that talented and that mentally strong and tough and that smart that he just continues to refine his game. And I think he's sort of figuring out as he gets into his mid-20s, what is the type of player that he's going to become.
I would assume tonight that we'll see Luke Raley in right field. We'll get the lineup, I guess, a little bit later today. But he's been a focal point for me throughout the spring, just kind of looking at where, he had an off year last year. He was hurt really throughout the whole season. But you don't have to go back far to come up with two really great seasons in a row. And, you lose some home run power with Polanco leaving. Who knows whether or not Cal can come back with another 60. I certainly am not going to doubt him, but it's hard to have another 60 home run season. What could Luke Raley do this year to help make up for some of that?
I should have listed him among the guys in the spring that I was most excited about. So thank you for the reminder. Just seeing him healthy. Last year he really battled it physically and emotionally of not being able to do the things that he has done for the previous couple years. He's a really good player. He's a good defender. He's a versatile defender. He's an awesome base runner. He's a great athlete, and he mauls right-handed pitching. He is one of the best hitters on our team against right-handed pitching in 24. He was one of the best on Tampa in 23 before we made the acquisition. He's a great fit on our team and on our roster, and I think you're absolutely right that when you line up our team, a healthy 2023, 2024 version of Luke Raley, hitting behind all of the all-star players at the top of the lineup, your Donovan and Cal and Julio and Nails and Randy, like that is a chance to have a real impact on our roster that we just didn't see a lot last year because he was never healthy.
So help me understand the young guys. Let's start with Colt Emerson. He doesn't end up making the opening day roster. I got probably 2 or 3 questions about him, but start with what was it? Why the decision ultimately to send him to Tacoma to start the year?
I think we just want to see him get his legs under him in AAA. He's had 27 plate appearances in his life in AAA. He had a half a season at AA. There's time for him to grow into the player he's going to be. I think getting his timing down, getting the ball in the air a little more, making sure that he feels comfortable before we just jam him in at the big league level is important. You also want to make sure you have a defined role for the player. Obviously, we hope JP's back in a week. We have Brendan Donovan at third. Cole Young had an awesome spring at second, and it looks great. You want to make sure when you're adding guys, you're adding them with a plan. How are we going to utilize the player? We don't want Colt Emerson to come to the big leagues and sit. That doesn't make a lot of sense for him or for us. He's going to play in the big leagues for a long, long time. He's going to play for the Mariners for a long, long time. Every box you could check in terms of what kind of person he is, what kind of competitor, what kind of worker, like those boxes we're all really confident of. We just want to put him in a position to succeed. asking him to come up here after, a week in AAA with no certainty of a sort of a defined role in a defined period of time didn't feel like the right thing to do. I think he totally understands where he's at in his life. He's 20 years old. He's in AAA. He's a phone call away from the big leagues. I'm very confident you'll see him at some point. I just don't know when that is going to be.
Yeah, so how does that work? So if he goes to Tacoma and just looks great, he just rakes and he's comfortable and he's confident and he's playing the field, and there comes a point, I would think, in which you say, well, we just got to bring the kid up just because he's ready. Will you be willing? I mean, is the team willing to make room for him and try to find a role for him if he earns it?
I think that will be very easy to do if he's doing those things. There's never been a team in the history of baseball who say, yeah, we'd love to have you. We just have too many good players. Sorry. That doesn't happen. So that'll work itself out over time. I'm very confident of that.
Justin, you called yourself an idiot before, and then, when I talked to you about the story for Cal and Julio, you called yourself an idiot then. But I had several scouts say that your guys' signing of Rob Refsnyder was one of the smartest signings of the offseason. So I guess you're not an idiot there. What does Rob Refsnyder give you off the bench or in platoon situations that you were lacking last year?
Yeah, I definitely I got to get off the self-deprecation trade and start pumping myself up more. That's definitely what people want to hear. With Ref, I just think he fits really well in all the ways that this roster needs. Veteran, someone who's been around winning teams and winning cultures, no concern of him coming in here and sort of doing anything but adding the environment on top of a skill set that really was necessary. Losing Polo and losing some of the balance from the right side was a big loss for us, and it was a reason we aggressively pursued Polo when he hit free agency this winter. Finding a player who could balance us out and make sure that we weren't in a situation where we got exposed constantly by left-handed pitching was important to us, and Ref was at the top of the board. He's just been one of the best players versus left-handed pitching in the league for the last 4 years. I think he's third in on-base percentage against lefties over that time. Just having a guy who, when you plug him in, he knows exactly what his role is. He's awesome at his role, and he's great in the clubhouse. Those are all things that really were a requirement for us, and there were very few players on the free agency landscape that checked all those boxes. He was at the very top of that list.
Baseball is so different from other sports. It's one of my favorite things about it, right? Whether it's the marathon or how much is out of your control and trusting the process. One of the challenges that I find fascinating for this team this year is dealing with expectations that we've never seen here in Seattle, certainly not in the 17 years that I've spent here. How does this team go about recognizing while also learning to handle these high expectations for them?
Yeah, I'd rather be picked first than last. And I think that's the way we have to approach this is like, that's great. And I certainly, I wouldn't want everybody to when I call in to say, man, the general manager of a team who I think is terrible is the Seattle Mariners. Like that's not where we're at in our development. And I don't think we should run away from our talent or our expectations, but it also doesn't actually mean anything once we hit first pitch tonight. So embracing our talent, embracing the expectations, embracing a standard that we want to get to is what we should do. And then once the games start, it doesn't really matter. We just have to go execute to the talent, to the standards we have. This is like, believe me, you want to read every one of the articles that says how great you are. It also doesn't affect a single thing that happens on the field once the games start.
Well, doesn't Dan play a huge factor in all of this? The calming sensation that he brings, the freedom that he gives players to kind of be themselves and puts that onus on them. Doesn't Dan have a large role in helping keep them process oriented? I mean, these guys are already really process oriented, but Dan kind of being there as that baseline help out a little bit.
I think it's Dan's superpower. I think his consistency day to day, his ability to just approach things with a very level head every day. It's not that it doesn't bother him if we've lost 2 or 3 in a row. I just think he understands it doesn't do any good to come in and sulk or snap at people. Like his ability to focus and be steady Eddie every day, I think gives players the freedom to go out and be themselves. I think he knows that if everybody comes in here tight and scared that, what's Dan going to act like today, that doesn't help us win games. And so his ability to sort of steel himself through the highs and the lows and just be the same guy every day is a great gift that the best managers have, and he exhibits it every day.
How, thinking about the acquisitions you guys made in the offseason, and, not all of them, I haven't gotten to know Ferrer enough yet. I'm looking forward to watching them. But when I think about the re-signing of Josh Naylor, the trade for Brendan Donovan, and the signing of Rob Refsnyder, if I'm trying to come up with one thing that all three of them have in common, there's probably a bunch. Great clubhouse guys certainly comes up. Hard workers comes up. But it really seems like all three of them are just exceptionally smart, thoughtful baseball players and people. Was that something that was important to you guys? Was that a common thread that you guys went out looking for?
For sure. And I think that's a common thread among the guys that have come through our system. Julio is really smart. Tao is really smart. Cole Young, very smart. There's on the field and off the field, these guys understand a bigger picture. And I think, when we look at players, a lot of the way we look at them is what is their bandwidth for how much we can help them get better. And if guys aren't smart, it's really hard to sort of expand their horizons to the right of the curve and help them grow in ways beyond just what the average player could grow into with adding size and strength and reps. So it is important for us in the draft and development process. And obviously when you're at the big league level, you want to make sure that you're adding guys to an environment that enhance the environment. And all of those guys definitely check that box of guys who will push each other, who will be great teammates, who love baseball and watch it. I was so impressed with Donnie sitting in the dugout during spring training, even after he came out of the games, and just wanting to talk to guys, watch the game with guys. And his response was, that's how I get to know people, is when we're watching baseball together. That's a great way for me to sort of ingratiate myself into the team and the clubhouse culture and environment. That's exactly what we're looking for as an organization.
Yeah, I would think that really leads to a lot of great baseball conversation amongst the guys. We heard this from Mike McDonald interviewing him throughout the year, and just how important it was for him to find guys that just loved the game and just wanted to sit around talking about it. And I would imagine that in baseball, in some ways, it's almost more important because of how much of a grind the game can be over 6 or 7 or 8 months of the season, and how complicated and mental it can be. If you truly love it and are smart about it, how much better can your team be at being detail oriented?
I think it just helps you keep the train on the tracks. When he starts to drift off, when you have the inevitable bad week or bad 2 weeks, I think the more guys you have that are wired like that, the easier it is to recenter yourself and get back to playing good baseball.
Justin, you're the executive who texted Passan yesterday, aren't you?
I am.
Yeah, I think we all knew that. Yeah. Jeff he's a bit of a jinx, isn't he?
I told him I was actually not that worried about it. I was mostly just messing around with him because he has a track record of just horrendous luck. But no, it's you have to embrace it. Watching the network yesterday, I think it's really cool when people are picking the Mariners to achieve the things they're talking about, winning the American League, winning the World Series. That's what we've been hoping to accomplish, is putting our team in the position to do that. We actually have to go do it now, and we'll need to do things along the way in the season to help this group. I think we're all cognizant of that, but I'd much rather have that than, again, walking in the door opening day with wow, no chance for the Mariners this year. That's just kind of a loser mindset, and it's sort of based on self-preservation. If the expectations aren't that high, no one will be upset with us if we don't meet them. That's really not where we are, and not where we ever want to be again.
Can't wait. I think the whole city is in agreement. We can't wait to watch this team this year. The expectations are sky high, but I think more than that, the anticipation is sky high because of how much fun last year was and how much fun we're expecting. I think it's a good group. I think it's a fun group. I think it's going to be a detail-oriented group. And it strikes me as a group that's going to have a lot of fun playing baseball. And if that's the case, then we're going to have a lot of fun watching and paying attention and talking about them all year. Justin, thank you. Good luck tonight and over the course of the season. We'll be watching, and I'm sure we'll talk soon.
I knew the positivity would just scream through the phone with Salk and Davis this morning. So
we are two of the more positive people in the city. Yes.
Day's not over with yet, Justin.
Talk to you at 9:30.
Yeah.
There you go. There's Justin Hollander, general manager of the Mariners.
All right, that is entertaining, I got to say. Good interview there with Justin Hollander, Salk, and Divish yesterday. Yes, when you think beacons of joy and optimism, you definitely think Ryan Divish and Mike Salk. No, they got a good interview there. Justin, a lot of good points on the timeline for Bryce Miller and J.P. Crawford to return, obviously starting the season on the 15 and 10-day IL, respectively. We'll get into all of that and a lot more. Mike Lefko and Charlie Furbush here with you. Well, Shannon Drayer joining us at 8:30 as we dive into everything that happened around opening day yesterday, all the pomp and circumstance, and then the actual game. Brendan Donovan's leadoff home run, some tough performances at the plate from a few stalwarts in the Mariners lineup, and all the pitching questions that we have Charlie to answer here. So plenty more coming up here. Mike Lefko and Charlie Furbush with you. Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
It's the biggest development yet since the Sonics left for OK.
Wait a minute.
You better watch your mouth, sunshine.
One step closer.
The NBA Board of Governors did vote yes to explore expansion here in Seattle.
Stay up on the very latest on the NBA's potential return to Seattle at seattlesports.com. And the conversation continues on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
We are on a magic carpet ride.
Start having fun. Caesars Sportsbook at Muckleshoot Casino Resort is your #1 place to eat, drink, watch, and have fun. Keep up with your favorite sports anywhere and everywhere on property with the mobile app. Visit muckleshootcasino.com today. Scan the QR code and let the play begin.
Muckleshoot. The March sales event is on at Toyota of Renton, and the deals are unbeatable. Finance the new 2026 Tacoma SR at 2.99% APR for 72 months, plus get $500 TFS subvention cash, or lease the 2025 Tundra SR5 at $539 a month for 36 months with $39.99 due at signing. Find them at toyotaofrenton.com. Offers valid through March 31st, 2026 on approved credit through TFS. Excludes taxes, titles, licenses, dealer accessories, and a $200 negotiable documentation fee. Model 7594-8361.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
T-Mobile has an exclusive bundle for customers 55 and up.
I'm Sarah Bowl.
Yeah, I'm Frank Bowl.
A reliable network is key for us. And with T-Mobile, it's been wonderful. And going to the 55 plus plan saved us so much money.
A lot.
And that's important. Trying to keep costs down. The home internet's been perfect. It's fast, it's quick. The setup was so easy, it took less than 15 minutes.
It was like, ta-da! If you want simplicity, coverage, reliability, you want the whole package, T-Mobile has it. Right now, T-Mobile customers 55 and up can get 2 phone lines on America's best network, plus America's fastest 5G home internet for just $30 each.
$30 per month each line with autopay plus taxes and fees. Minimum age 55. Pricing for home internet rely on 2 lines of essentials. Choice 55. $35 connection charge per line required. Best mobile network and fastest 5G home internet based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence Data 2H 2025. All rights reserved.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
ZipRecruiter.
When you tell someone what team you cheer for, do they apologize? Does your first childhood memory involve crying on a Jumbotron? Then you may be a fan of a BST or bad sports team. Luckily, when you bundle your home and auto insurance with Progressive, you're protected from things like fire damage caused by violently unplugging the TV. Or an accidental overhand left to the drywall. Visit Progressive.com today. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Covered subject to policy terms. Not available in all states or situations.
Evan Cohen here. In life, as in sports, the pros make it look easy. That's why pro golfers like Jason Day, Ben Griffin, and Patton Kazire trust the pros in lawn care. True Green. They have the experience and expertise to give you a lawn worthy of the PGA Tour. And since True Green does the work for you, you get more free time, or more tee times. So stop stressing over your lawn and start loving it. Sign up now at TrueGreen.com because nobody makes it easier to get a golf course quality lawn than True Green, the official lawn care treatment provider of the PGA Tour.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
This hour of the Brock and Salk Show is powered by Star Rentals, preferred supplier to the West's best contractors.
Give me a freaking auto! From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
Brock Ewert is my hero.
Jay Buhner just punched me in the kidney.
We're going to give you a minute.
Doesn't really work that way, Sherm. This is a show that has my name on it.
It kind of does, though.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Ewert and Mike Salk.
Hello! Happy Friday. Not happy if we're just going off the Mariners record right now. One game in. They didn't get a win, Charlie. It's okay. One game into the season, there's a chance for redemption. It comes today and 160 more games after that as well. Long season ahead. But yes, in the immediacy of an opening day loss, we are here, Mike Lefko and Charlie Furbush, here to break it all down with you on Brock and Salk. Well, Shannon Drayer joining us at 8:30, where there was a lot to get into. Charlie, it was a game where, hey, you start off with the highest of highs. Brendan Donovan, your prized acquisition in the offseason, comes to the plate. Home run in his first at-bat. Joyous occasion there. And then we start to realize, well, hold on a second. This offense is just going to be home runs tonight. Something that at times they did last year. The Mariners last year, highest percentage of runs in baseball came via the home run of any other team. And I look at it two ways. I'm curious to get your thoughts. You hit 4 home runs. You get a great performance from someone like Dominic Canzone, but all 4 of your runs came via the home run. Is that a concern? Is that good? How do you look at it after one game?
I'm not too concerned. Early on in the year, it's really, I'm not concerned at all, really, or at any point early in the season, because as the 162 games go, you realize that the first month is just don't, dig yourself a hole so deep you can't get out of. And then you can, kind of navigate through, everything. So I'm not, when I look at the loss last night, I think the thing that I look at specifically, I mean, it's great that they, ran into some long balls. I love that. But it's the 14 strikeouts that I think really is you look at that and you go, well, that's not going to work. You can't be striking out 14 times a night, every night, and think that you're going to have enough production in between those strikeouts. So, yeah, that was the one thing that I was like, man, you're still swinging and missing. And, I think there were a couple moments where a couple guys looked overmatched or were trying to do too much at the plate. So, but it's game one. I think everyone wants to come out and shine on day one and be the guy in some way. So, but everyone will learn from last night, and it's nice to get their feet wet, get into the game today, and probably have a nice new approach.
Yeah, Mariners could not get any traffic, really. I mean, that was the issue. They did not have multiple men on base consistently like the Guardians did. In fact, they only had multiple men on base once in the 5th inning, a walk and then a double, and that was it. Contrast that with the Cleveland team that had traffic in the 5th inning when they scored a couple of runs. And that's 7th when the decisive hit happened for Ramirez. So you talk about the difference in pressuring a pitcher or what we saw from the Mariners, where at times that has been the issue in the past few years. 14 strikeouts, you think, hey, that's just byproduct of a slow start. Guys, not going to be maybe an epidemic, but for someone like a Julio or a Cal, both of them had 3 strikeouts. No reason to be concerned about them.
No, I'm not concerned about them. I think there was a couple, aggressive swings and maybe trying to attack a pitch that you weren't able to, and that's just, I think, that brand new season excitement where, like I said, you're really wanting to do some damage with the opportunity you have, especially offensively speaking, like get up there and try and drive the ball. And sometimes, if it's a pitcher you haven't faced in a while, you kind of have to figure out the way he's throwing, the angle of attack, where can I essentially get my foot down in time and hit the ball. So the pitchers for Cleveland did a great job keeping most of those guys off balance and, threw a lot of different pitches in and out and up and down. But not too concerned about Cal or Julio. I would say that they just, had a couple tough at-bats and ultimately struck out. So it's not anything of any concern game 1.
Now, I guess this could also counter the narrative that it's tough to hit here in the cold early weather months because you just saw 6 home runs get hit last night, 4 by the Mariners and 2 by the Guardians. Hey, that's got to be good news, especially when you're hitting them so perfectly like your new favorite home run machine. Yes. Now, I'm going to let you throw out all the nicknames here, but for a man who's named Dominic Canzone, he crushed that ball. He looked great. I think you want to call him probably something else. Have you settled on a nickname yet?
We talked about it, yes. I think after seeing that the first homer was great. I mean, I think picking up from last year, Canzone had just a really solid season, and to see this game 1, not just the first homer, but the second homer was an absolute bomb. So I think we should name him Bomb Canzone. Right?
Full name.
Bomb and Dom, they
full
rhyme.
name Bominick Canzone.
Ooh, Bominick Canzone.
Yeah, Bominick
right?
Canzone.
Because he's just going to hit so many bombs this year. I mean, I'd love to see that. Could you see a 30-homer piece from this guy?
Canzone.
I think so.
Do you like that? Okay, let's start. Bominick Canzone, Bomb Canzone. What about Don Bombs?
Ooh, Don Bombs?
Yeah.
Don Bombs.
Bombs, yeah.
We might be onto something here.
Okay. All right, hey, if you like a nickname for Dominic Canzone, 866-979-3776. Charlie, what you settled on? Bomb Canzone.
Bomb Canzone was the original, but I'm happy to iterate. We can iterate as much as we can.
I like the formal Bominick.
Bombinick's.
Yeah, we're gonna call him Bominick Canzone.
Hey, I mean, if it works, we got a little moniker for him.
All right.
I mean, this would be a really big impact bat from the left side.
Now, we joke about this because he hit the 2 home runs, but do you see him becoming one of those regular home run hitters? Are we going to be regularly talking about him and referring to our guy, Bomb and Bominick Canzone, because of what he could do? I mean, we saw what he could do at the end of last year. The hope was it could carry over and what that could bring, especially when you have this lefty lineup that could provide some heft with all these right-handed starters. Could this be that bat? Everyone's been wondering, where does the home run power come from? They lost Gino Suarez. They lost Jorge Polanco. Cal Raleigh, you don't expect he's going to hit 60. So that natural decreased home run number, is this a guy that you're feeling confident that's going to provide that power?
Yeah, I think from what I'm seeing after last night's at-bats, this could be a guy that, I mean, when you look at the platoon situation with the Mariners and how things are, unfolding, and with Ref Snyder playing mostly against left-handed pitchers, this could be a perfect complement, between we got Ref Snyder, Raley, Robles, and Canzone, and who knows after the course of a handful of games, a month into the season, who's going to shine. And I think what's going to happen is whoever grabs the bull by the horns and says, yeah, I'm going to be the guy, and right now the leader in the clubhouse is Bomb Canzone. He could be that guy that is plugged into the lineup regularly and could be an impact bat. And I think that's where it just adds length to the lineup. And when you have a guy hitting in that 6-7 spot, really doing damage, it makes it so much more difficult to navigate lineups because you realize you can't let off the gas pedal at all. So what a sight to see, and it just feels that he's always had this natural big time pop, and got to see it last night.
Which one did you like better, the first one or the second one?
I mean, the second one was further, man. 444.
All right, you're just a straight distance guy. That's fine.
Well, it was a no doubter, and when you go in even deeper, both home runs, they were home runs in every ballpark. So it doesn't matter where we were playing last night. He hit 2 homers.
I just wanted to make sure you said that before I played this. His second home run of the night.
Here comes the pitch. Swung on, blasted. This is on its way. It is going to go number 2 of the game on opening day for Dom Canzone. A solo blast for Dom, a no-doubter. 4th home run of the game for the Mariners. That's a way to celebrate opening day for Dom Canzone.
Yes, it was 444 feet. Do you think he got the taste of the espresso machine that Team Italy was doing after those home runs just in his head and said, look, if I keep hitting home runs, someone's going to buy that, bring it into the Mariners dugout, and then I can take advantage?
Of course. Why wouldn't it?
Yeah.
You know, I mean.
I don't think he wanted that. They burned his mouth.
Well, maybe you learned.
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah.
He spit it out, and then later, Vinny Pasquantino was like, yeah, we learned that we have to control the temperature a little better because we scalded some guys.
Wait, that was the only home run he hit, too, during the WBC, wasn't it? Ooh, all right. So he got a taste of what could be. Wanted redemption after the bad espresso shot, and now has made up for it. All right. That's my theory. I don't know. Yeah, keep chiming in with your nicknames. We got a few of those. Bomb Zone, Dominic Bomb Zone, Da Bomb, Dommy Bombs.
See,
Long Bomb Dom.
This is great.
This is the most text we're gonna get all day. All right, perfect. Keep chiming in with your Dominic Canzone nicknames. 866-979-3776. Dom the Bomb. There are a ton of them. He was certainly one of the biggest stories of the Mariners' loss last night. One of the Mariners' games last night. But there was a guy who made some history for the Mariners last night. We're going to get into that. Mike Lefko, Charlie Furbush with you. Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
It's the biggest development yet since the Sonics left for OK.
Wait a minute. You better watch your mouth, sunshine.
One step closer.
The NBA Board of Governors did vote yes to explore expansion here in Seattle.
Stay up on the very latest on the NBA's potential return to Seattle at seattlesports.com. And the conversation continues on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
We are on a magic carpet ride.
Hi, Sarah here with Safeway. We're proud to partner with Champions of Change co-founder Doug Baldwin to help nourish Washington students through the Nourishing Champions program.
Thanks, Sarah. And here's the reality. Every day, students across our state are staying after school for extracurriculars on empty stomachs, and some of them don't know where their next meal will come from. Food insecurity is reaching crisis levels, and the impact on our youth will extend far beyond this moment. The good news is that there's an answer in the federally funded after-school meals programs. But right now, Washington schools' participation is very low, reaching only 2% of the students who qualify.
That's where Nourishing Champions comes in. We're offering grants that not only fund food, but also resource and training support for the schools to offer an after-school meal program for years to come.
Our goal is to reach 10,000 more students in the first year of these grants and then grow from there. School staff can learn more and apply today at championsofchangefoundation.org and navigating to the Nourishing Champions tab. That's championsofchangefoundation.org and click on the Nourishing Champions tab.
We've all been there, sleepless nights, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy knowing we're here for you. BayAlarm.com.
Our number one thing with them is always like, hey, welcome someone in and assure them that they're in the right place. We're going to take care of them.
Lee Johnson Auto Family, the LJ way.
Jackson Hewitt has a great tax prep deal, $149 or less. Missing out is like ignoring the check engine light in your car. You'll regret it. Seriously, the price is only $149 or less, no matter how complicated, so don't wait. Like when you get a password expires today alert, or you're shopping online and there's only one item left. It's like your taxes are in the cart, just complete the purchase. Hurry! This deal for $149 or less is like your phone at 1%. It's about to power down. Limited time offer for new clients on federal returns. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com/149.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Annie's first oil change wasn't as hard as she thought because she went to AutoZone, where a friendly AutoZoner helped her find the right oil and save on an oil filter. He explained the job and showed her free how-tos on AutoZone.com. When she was done, AutoZone recycled her old oil for free. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Start having fun. Caesar Sportsbook at Muckleshoot Casino Resort is your #1 place to eat, drink, watch, and have fun. Keep up with your favorite sports anywhere and everywhere on property with the mobile app. Visit muckleshootcasino.com today. Scan the QR code and let the play begin.
Muckleshoot.
Your old water heater's starting to peter.
DayandNight.net.
Day and Night has $150 off installation of any new water heater, including tankless, backed by a free lifetime warranty.
Hi, I'm Bruce. When your old water heater leaks or fails, the damage could be catastrophic. Whether you need an emergency replacement or you're planning ahead before it leaks, give us a call and we'll help you get into hot water again.
Get $150 off installation of any new water heater.
DayandNight.net.
Heading outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nelly on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Febreze. New Febreze Air Mist has 50% more odor fighters and up to 30% more fragrance than the old formula. So now you can take on 100% more stinky odors, like sweaty gym bags, greasy cooking smells, and the after effects of the dog rolling around in something. Just spray, and new Febreze Air instantly restores just clean freshness. Smell you later, odor. Breathe happy, Febreze. La, 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 la.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
How can you free your team from time-consuming office tasks? Amazon Business. Smart business buying tools enable buyers to find and purchase items fast so they can focus on strategy and growth. Free up your teams and focus on your future. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
Running a business means wearing multiple hats. So if you're like me, you probably started out using your personal phone, taking client calls and texts nonstop. As my business grew, I needed something smarter. That's when I switched to Quo, the #1 business phone system. Quo works right on your phone or computer. No carrying 2 phones, no clunky landline, just one easy app you can try for free. Your team can share one number and handle calls and texts together like a shared inbox. Any teammate can jump into the conversation so customers get faster responses. And Quo's AI assistant summarizes your calls and responds to customers 24/7, so you never miss a lead or opportunity. All this starts at just $15 a month. That's basically 2 coffees. You can even keep your current business phone number. Find out why 90,000 businesses trust Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try Quo for free at quo.com/sports. That's quo.com/sports to try Quo free. QUO.com/SPORTS.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Presented by Marquee Data. Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Well, what you really need to know is we are getting a plethora, a break the text line kind of amount of names for Dom Canzone and a nickname that should be foisted upon. I can't speak so early. That should be foisted upon him this day of 2 home run reckoning for Dom Canzone. I'm struggling to say his name correctly because I'm trying to think of all the nicknames I want to call him. 866-979-3776. The suggestions are brilliant. We have so many right now. Keep chiming in with your nickname that Charlie threw out there is Bomb Canzone. I say, oh, well, you mean the formal name to address him first is Bominate Canzone, and then they have just spiraled on from there. The Bomb Father, the Dom Father, etc. So keep chiming in with those. We'll get back to them in a little bit because they have been terrific, and Charlie's very proud. I think
the great Bombino.
You've coined a new nickname here for Dom Canzone. I'm going to screw up calling him by his real name now because in my head, I have to make a pun on bomb. So we'll figure out a good name to call him. I think we have some strong contenders right now, but he was not the only one who hit a home run last night. In fact, Brendan Donovan became, and this is kind of stunning to think about, he became the first player in M's history to hit a leadoff home run on opening day.
He's the leadoff hitter for your ball club. The windup and the pitch on the way to Donovan. Swinging a well-hit ball. Deep to right field. Stay fair, stay fair. It is gone. Goodbye, baseball. Welcome to Seattle. Brendan Donovan. In his first at-bat in the Mariners uniform. Ties the game at 1-1. Can you believe that? Right down the right field line out by the Hit It Here Cafe. Yes, indeed. What an acquisition. the Mariners. Brendan Donovan gets his first trident at the dugout and gets a standing ovation from a sellout crowd here at T-Mobile Park.
Charlie, 2 for 4 on the night, has that home run, has a double as well. This is obviously the guy the Mariners were looking for at the top of the lineup.
He just, what a great start. But yeah, he continues to, I think, show why he's so valuable. Not just, I mean, I don't think you're going to see a ton of home runs out of him, but I think that scrappiness, that double down the line, really staying in the at-bat. I continue to see a really scrappy ball player that the Mariners are really going to like there at the top of the lineup.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
A lot of other things happening around baseball. Technically not opening day yesterday. There was a game on Wednesday, but for almost every other team, it was opening day, so a lot happened. I want to get your thoughts on this, Charlie. There was a theory thrown out there, an article this morning in The Athletic, that there might be a lingering WBC effect for some Team USA guys. So Paul Skeens lasts only 2/3 of an inning. Shortest start of his career, gives up 5 runs, can't even get through 1 inning. Logan Webb on Wednesday gives up 6 runs in 5 innings. Aaron Judge also on Wednesday, only player in the Yankees lineup to not get a hit, 0 for 5 with 4 strikeouts. And Cal last night, 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. Read anything into that, or that's just a weird coincidence that, hey, it's early in the season, but all these guys who are very visible participants for Team USA did struggle in Game 1.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not overly concerned about it. Yeah, that is quite an odd connection, right? But
you can draw parallels to anything.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think there is some, having to be in that high-end situation, playing for your country, and then getting back to, spring training, and then getting back into the opening day in the season. So it is probably a whirlwind of emotions, but it is odd that the performance was lacking from Team USA.
Yeah, maybe there's some kind of lingering effects. Who knows? For your guy, Dominic Canzone, really helped him. 2 home runs last night, coming off the Team Italy run through the WBC. So maybe it's just a Team USA thing. Who knows? But a couple other results that happened in the division. Good news for the Angels. Bad news for everyone else. The Angels shut out the Astros, held them to just 3 hits. Houston loses 3-0. The Rangers were getting shut out by the Phillies. They do rally, but they go on to lose 5-3. So Rangers, Astros, Mariners, all dealt losses. A's haven't played yet. They begin the season tonight. Angels, 1-0, top the division.
Well, enjoy it, Angels. It's not going to last for
right now.
Yeah, exactly.
What if some sad Angels fan is like, all right, that's as good as it's going to get? Prints out the standings, frames them up in the bedroom. So, yeah, I don't think it will get much better for the Angels.
I don't think the Mariners are going to have to worry about the Angels' performance this year.
Okay, that's good to know because they take them on soon. First road trip. They go to technically Anaheim, even though they're ashamed to call themselves the Anaheim Angels.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
I don't know what everyone else is doing yesterday, but I could not pull myself away from the Sweet 16 happening, to the detriment of maybe everyone else around me in Hatback. After our show ended, had to run right up to the one TV showing Purdue, Texas, because it was the most dramatic game of the day. The 2-seed Purdue, the 11-seed Texas go literally down to the wire, and Purdue wins with less than a second left.
Dreams are reality right now. Braden Smith with the ball. Clock ticks. Down to 6. Down to 5. Smith shaking. Bacon. Smith puts it up. No! The fire! It's good! With .7 left. Trey Kaufman-Wren has given Purdue the lead. A chance at the last shot. It's up. No good. Purdue advances.
I lost all state of being and reason. I didn't know what happened at the end. I probably yelled. I jumped around, looked around, and said, "Oh, where is everyone?" Oh, yeah, the Mariners game was about to start. So that happened. Iowa, Nebraska was dramatic. Arizona, they crushed Arkansas. That's your pick, I heard, right?
That's my pick.
You're all in on Arizona?
Yeah, and you're all in on Purdue
well,
because
I'm all in as a
you
fan.
grew up there?
I do not think – I picked them to lose in the second round because I don't trust they'll ever do anything good.
Okay.
But, no, Arizona looks really good. They look dominant. So that Elite Eight matchup is tomorrow along with Illinois, Iowa. No, because I believe Arizona will win by about 25.
Oh, okay.
So
all right.
I would probably take whatever you take.
Okay.
Mora is probably the biggest, most positive Purdue fan
if
here.
If Arizona wins, I have a pretty good chance to win this Seattle Sports.
Really? Okay.
Okay.
But you always seem to be the more positive Purdue fan.
Oh.
At least your bracket name.
Yeah,
so I appreciate the support.
But I don't pay as much attention as you, so I think I just maybe it's because I know Lefko likes Purdue. when I'm picking, I go that way.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. So, all right.
He's
If
so
Arizona
diehard.
wins,
I mean, it's better
you
for
win?
everyone if they win because he's a psychopath pacing around the building and freaking out if they don't.
Yeah.
Learn something new
Truth
about you
hurts.
every day, man.
All right. If anyone had video from yesterday in Hatback, maybe that would furthermore his claim. All right. I am in charge of our bracket pool here at Seattle Sports, but I have a strict no updates until after every weekend is done. So I don't update after the first round. You wait till after the first and second round because they play them all 4 days in a row. Then you're done. So I have not looked. I refuse to look. But hey, that means Mora's going to win.
In first after last
Good luck
night
to Mora if Arizona wins. So I will send a full update and recap after Sunday's games when it's all set and done.
All right.
That's literally
bear down for them Cats.
everything you need to know. Well, and of course, so everyone's rooting for Arizona because Curtis Rogers, who produces the midday show, an actual U of A grad. So he's a big bear downer. So
Okay.
he's all in on Arizona.
Yeah.
All right. Former Gonzaga assistant, the head coach of Arizona as well. So if you're a Gonzaga fan, there you go. Root for Arizona, I guess.
Exactly.
All right. We'll see what happens. That is everything you need to know. But as we talk about this Mariners opening game and the rest of the early part of the season, it's become evident that ABS strategy is going to play a big role. We'll dive into that in a little bit more here. Mike Lefko and Charlie Furbush with you. Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
It's the biggest development yet since the Sonics left for OK.
Wait a minute.
You better watch your mouth, sunshine.
One step closer.
The NBA Board of Governors did vote yes to explore expansion here in Seattle.
Stay up on the very latest on the NBA's potential return to Seattle at seattlesports.com. And the conversation continues on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
We are on a magic carpet ride.
At Uline, the prevailing opinion is if you don't live it, you don't believe it. The people at Uline believe in hard work, and they live it by being there 24/7 to answer your call, having 41,000 items in stock, and offering same-day shipping from 12 locations across North America. Business owners, sellers, buyers, shippers, and packers believe it. Uline is the hard-working, dependable source for your shipping and industrial supplies. Visit uline.com.
Some places just know how to make an evening special. I'm Brock Ewart, and for me, that place is Sea Star Restaurant and Raw Bar in Bellevue. For 24 years, my friend Chef John Howie and his team have delivered incredible seafood. I'm talking pristine local oysters, sushi, cedar plank salmon, generous portions, and an unmatched beverage list. From the first greeting to the final bite, you feel taken care of. Celebration, business dinner, night with friends, Sea Star turns great meals into lasting memories. SeaStarRestaurant.com.
Now through March 31st, Lake Washington Windows and Doors is paying your sales tax, plus offering easy zero down, zero payments, and zero interest for 12 months. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com today and save the sales tax.
Stacy here. Sell your car to Wayscar Ford, and when they resell it, they share half their profit with you. That's right. Sell your car to Wayscar Ford, Isuzu, and Auburn. They'll pay you today for your car, and once they resell it, they'll share half their profit with you. WayscarFord.com.
It is time to rewind with the Nostalgia and Retro Convention in Puyallup this weekend. Get autographs and photos with Hall of Famer Edgar Martinez and Jay Buhner. Meet Dennis Rodman and Horace Grant, Sergeant Slaughter in the Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart. Music fans can meet J.C. Chazé from NSYNC, Tiffany and Debbie Gibson. Dive into a world of classic TV and movies with Ponch and John from Chips, Steve Gutenberg and Bobcat Goldthwait from Police Academy, and so many more. Saturday and Sunday at the fair in Puyallup. Buy tickets now at rewindwa.com.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
It's about time delivery worked on your schedule. Same day, next day, or scheduled in advance. However you plan it, the Home Depot delivers the whole job. From drywall to doors, plumbing to paint, we'll get it there when you need it. Because on the job site, timing is everything. You order, we deliver. It's that easy. The Home Depot Pro. It's about time.
Do you like helping others? Become a Sheba volunteer. In Pierce County, join the hundreds of volunteers across Washington state who help over 90,000 people each year with their Medicare options and questions. You don't have to know Medicare. We'll teach you. And if you're bilingual, even better. For more information and how to apply, call Sheba at 1-800-562-6900 or go to insurance.wa.gov.
Sponsored by the Office of the Insurance Commissioner and aired by the Washington State Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Compassion, communication, results. That's Pendergast Law Personal Injury Lawyers. Go to pendergastlaw.com. That's pendergastlaw.com.
It's funny how you get used to things in not so ideal condition around the house. It's Dave Wyman here, and for me, it was old windows. After 20 years in our home, virtually every window had a broken seal. We got used to cold drafts, outside noises, and condensation. And if you're in the same boat, use this spring to say goodbye to the old, dreary windows and hello to your new exclusive windows from Harley Exteriors. Right now, they're having a spring cleaning sale to complete your home makeover. If you buy 10 windows, you can choose between 20% off your entire project or get a free door. On top of that, make 0 payments and accumulate 0 interest for up to 12 months for qualified buyers. Harley Exteriors windows are a massive upgrade, manufactured right here in the Pacific Northwest and exclusive to Harley Exteriors. Call 833-HARLEY, that's HARLEY, or go to harleyexteriors.com. Schedule your free consultation today at harleyexteriors.com.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them. They have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go. And that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
All right, we're just one game into the season. One game to make all our major overreactions and jumping off points. That's all we have to go on, though. We have literally just one game to base everything off of. But I will say, from a more serious standpoint, that it appears that we'll have some things that look like they're going to be obvious strategic elements that have been added to the game already. And that's ABS and the impact that's had in just one game. You kind of saw the ramifications. So I do want to dig into that and also keep the nicknames going. They have been brilliant. 866-979-3776. Dominic Canzone hit 2 home runs last night, so we want your best bomb Canzone variations. Bominic Canzone, the bomb father, the Dom father. I've lost track of all the good ones here. Dom Bombino, Don Bombs, yeah, the great Dombino. Yeah, keep them coming in. Keep coming in with those. But it's become clear that ABS strategy is going to evolve as people and teams kind of learn the practical application of it in the regular season. Because it's one thing to say, all right, in spring training, you know what, just do it wherever. Try it out, figure out how it might be applied in the regular season, figure out what zone will be actually called, because now there's more of a standardized zone. It's not the umpire thinks it's this. No, remember they measured everyone, and we figured out that some players are a lot shorter because they put these official measurements into the system that now does balls and strikes in this ABS challenge system. So you do have more of a standardized zone, and they were challenging and trying to figure it out in spring training, but there's no real weight behind it. Now we see, all right, look, whether to challenge or whether not to challenge might impact a game. I don't think it did. I don't think if Cal Raleigh challenges in the 8th, the Mariners all of a sudden get a win. They still needed to score 2 runs, and they didn't. Well, 1 run at that point, but they go on to lose. They did not have any offense outside of the home runs, but you can see already how big this is going to be, and how do you think it will evolve now for the Mariners?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how it evolves. Like as you were saying this, it made me think, I wonder, is there even a hierarchy, if you will, when it comes to the ability to challenge? Like, is it only go to Julio, Cal, Naylor, and Rivas? Sorry, you're not going to challenge. Like, I don't know if there's any hierarchy involved, but I think certainly when it comes to approaching how you're going to deploy the challenge system, it feels as if they're not just the Mariners. Everyone's going to kind of have to fail to learn. It feels as if you're going to have to challenge a couple things and realize whether, you got to have a good gauge on the strike zone or not. I will say, just from watching the game, I did like the new strike zone on the screen. I felt like it had a little bit more detail in between the boxes. And then when there were pitches that weren't challenged and the pitch came into the zone, I think it did a really good job of showing like how much ball covered the zone, where it was in the zone. So, that gave a little glimpse to from our side of things, like, oh, this is where the ball is in the zone. So I thought it did a good job of seeing that from our perspective. But yeah, it just feels as if you may have to maybe split up your challenges in the first half and the second half, because if you willing to challenge in the beginning of the game and it works, you still have two challenges. So you may be in the end of the game with two challenges anyways. But I feel as if what happened last night maybe put the Mariners on a little hesitancy, because as somebody who is one of the lowest strikeout guys in Stephen Kwan, he decides to challenge a pitch in the third inning and loses. Mm-hmm. So now Cleveland's down to one challenge, and the Mariners are probably looking on their side like, oh, well, okay, well, we got to be real sure if we're going to challenge. And then lo and behold, you see a full game now, and the Mariners didn't challenge anything. So maybe the idea moving forward is being a little more aggressive to try and learn from this, because if you're only going to bank on challenging the ones that are absolute, then you may not use the system to your advantage.
Yeah, I think a couple ones that are curious now coming out of it a night later is Cal in the 8th. He doesn't challenge the pitch. 2-2 pitch, called strike 3. He struck out. Replay shows it wasn't. He specifically mentioned that one after the game to MLB Network's or MLB.com's Daniel Kramer. He said, looking back, yeah, should have done it. I don't think it was that far off. It is what it is. You'll learn from it. I'm sure we'll get more accustomed to it as the year goes on. Is that just the newness for him? I mean, I wonder how much the WBC impacted that, where he gets out of that rhythm. You don't have it in the WBC. Took a significant portion of his spring training. He comes back. How many opportunities is he going to have to challenge things at the plate? Gets in there, and then in that moment, it does have to be instantaneous. I wonder if that hesitancy, and all of a sudden by the time he realizes it, well, there you go. It's past 2 seconds, or everyone's kind of walking off. Yeah, it's going to evolve, but that one certainly sticks out as a look. That is a situation in the 8th, leadoff guy there. Get another opportunity, who knows what happens. I think that one stands out for a lot of people.
Yeah, and you saw not just what he said there, but his physical body language reaction live game. It was like, I should have challenged, and knowing that it has to be instantaneous, like you have to challenge right away. There's no delay. Oh, I'm thinking about it, because the whole idea is that if you don't do it instantaneously, then there is some way that somebody could give you information to challenge. So it has to come from the hitter instantaneously, and it felt like in that moment, Cal, I should have challenged. That's what it felt like. You know?
That was one of the biggest points of kind of question coming out of that game. I think the second might have been the Spire Jose Ramirez at bat. Key point in the game, Jose Ramirez, 2-run double. Guardians never lose the lead after that. They never lose the lead. It was 5-4 and then 6-4, and then they go on to win. In that moment, a lot of questions. Hey, why not Matt Brash? Why not someone else to get a righty-on-righty matchup on Ramirez? Spire is in there. He had faced a couple lefties before. There were 2 lefties right behind Ramirez. In that sense, do you like the move? What did you think, or what did you make of that at bat, where it is Spire Ramirez, and then the end result plays out in those 2 runs for Cleveland?
Yeah, obviously Jose Ramirez did the damage and took the lead for Cleveland last night. But I think you mentioned, right on right if Brash came in. It would have been right on left because Jose's a switch hitter.
Good point.
So
it's early.
Yeah, it's all good. But that's where, you look at, okay, well, how do we value the splits here? Do we think that Spire is better in the situation with the lefties surrounding? I think that's part of the approach, is looking at the lineup and being like, okay, well, he's done so well. And when you think about how well Spire has pitched, especially last year, facing ton of high-end right-handed bats as well as left-hand bats. Like, I don't hate that move at all, and it just feels like a situation where, he just didn't throw the pitch where he wanted to throw it and just left it over too much of the middle of the plate. Yeah, beneath the zone, but, just middle at the end of the day. It was a low pitch over the middle, and I think what I saw was, you could almost argue, and I don't know if Ramirez was sitting on it, but he certainly looked ready for that slider. And it's somebody who Inspire is very quick to throw strike one, strike two, and he's pretty fastball heavy. I wouldn't be surprised if just as that inning unfolded, that Ramirez is sitting on a slider, because essentially Spire doesn't throw that many changeups, and it's a really fastball slider combination. And there may be a situation where he's like, all right, well, I just saw two heaters. It's a 1-1 count. Now I can, look for something off speed. And he honestly, and it's kind of a tip of the cap moment too, because like it's a pitch where he went and got it's a pitch beneath the zone. And I just think when you have a guy in a lineup like a Ramirez, like any stud in a lineup you're facing, even though most hitters do damage when you leave balls over the middle of the plate, the really good hitters can go get pitches. And I think that's what happened, is that he went down and he went and got that pitch and drove it into the gap. So just how baseball unfolds sometimes.
I know. I was saying in the moment, I didn't think much of it. I'm like, yeah, Spire's a good guy to face him. He's one of your best high leverage arms, and you see the replay, especially as you mentioned. I know that's a frustrating thing to come to terms with at times, of like the other team also executes. And they have very good players. And we throw that out there at times, and it's tough to come to terms with, but it doesn't have to be someone's fault on this side. It can be Jose Ramirez, one of the best players in baseball, consistently in the top 3 in MVP voting. Did a really good thing there, went low, had a great swing, and put it in a spot where it was impossible to get to. And all of a sudden, your best player comes through in a spot that the Guardians are saying, look, this is our best player. That's what we need him to do. So, hey, from the other side, if he doesn't come through there, you're questioning, well, why is Jose Ramirez not coming through in a moment where they need him to? So I give credit to him as well. I didn't think there was any concern. People are going to nitpick, and I get that. But it just kind of felt like, look, if there was a moment there were some questions about that because it was such a decisive moment in the game.
Yeah, I would almost think if this is a game into the end of the season, Spire's probably not in the situation. I don't know if they would bank on putting him against Ramirez in a tight game, in a pennant race. Like when I look at that, I really, I thought the best chance for the Mariners to get a strikeout was Matt Brash. And as somebody that was in the bullpen warming up, I thought, oh, this would be a time to let our big strikeout weapon, obviously not closing Munoz, but I think Brash is the guy that can make hitters feel uncomfortable instantaneously with how he's throwing. And recently he's been looking, nothing against Spire, but I think there's something that we all can appreciate when we see Matt Brash go out there and you see that 97 with an absolute nasty wipeout slider. It just feels as if when he's on, it doesn't really matter who's up there. He's going to get a lot of swing and miss, and I think that's a situation where when you look back on it, you really needed some swing and miss, and Brash could have been that guy. But the thing is, we can't take anything away from Spire for really how he's earned it. He's done such a good job to get to this point, and I think you just fall into a situation where you got to tip your cap, and I think that's kind of what it is, right? You throw a pretty good pitch down beneath the zone, not a strike, guy goes out and gets it, so you got to tip your cap there.
Well, I will say there's also some history maybe that played a part in that, of thinking, remember Matt Brash corkscrewed Jose Ramirez into the ground on a strikeout a couple of years ago, back in 2023. So, I'm joking a little bit, because who knows if that would have played out 3 years later, but it was something in the back of maybe everyone's mind of like, Brash had that hilarious, memorable strikeout of Jose Ramirez a key situation.
That's probably one of the only times it's ever happened to Ramirez. Yeah. So if he faced him again, like, here we go again. Let's just try and hit the ball. I think when you think
that is in the back of his mind, if he sees
if he knowing
Brash
that you took a swing, like think about of all this bad swings or swings that have effectively knocked you down based on the pitch you saw, right? Like he swung at a pitch that he couldn't hit, and he swung at it so much that it made him fall down. It's like that's incredible. So yeah, I like you pull that there. That's like just another thing that you can look back on and say, man, this guy has some history against getting this guy out. maybe we go down that route next time.
All right, so ABS, we kind of sifted through that. We'll ask Shannon about that as well because she was down there for some of the postgame, and then they talked about it on the postgame show because it was a big moment in the game. A couple of situations. I do like what you brought up there, that Quan's early challenge going incorrectly, maybe that does sway the perception in the other dugout of like, oh, hey, he's a guy that has a good sense of the strike zone. Guy does not strike out, and all of a sudden he's so wrong there. Not just wrong, he was very wrong, and he strikes out. I do wonder in that situation. And the Mariners did talk about that they had kind of a structured plan. You know, they want their catchers primarily challenging. They don't want their pitchers challenging. They don't want you challenging in the first few innings. Maybe to err on the side of too strategic, there will be some there will be some sway here, right? There will be some tug one way or the other of, all right, hey, we're going to be a little more lenient in this situation if someone is fully convinced. And we have to err on being wrong first before we're just too cautious, and all of a sudden you're stuck there at the end of the game where they didn't challenge anything last night.
Yeah, and you think of all the questionable pitches that you could have challenged, there may only have been a couple, right? And that's where you may end up having a situation where you're in a game and there are 6 or 7 challenges that you can rifle through, and more or less, you're confident in making that call. I think having the confidence to do that is a little. It's going to be new for everyone because when you challenge it and you get it wrong, you realize now this is impacting the whole team, right? But it's like this high risk, high reward because if you get it right, then you're the man and you get to keep the challenge, right? So, but if you get it wrong, man, you only got one left. So it's definitely it's going to be fun to see how this unfolds. But I think from the approach of what the Mariners laid out for Game 1, it's going to be an ever-evolving approach to see what is the best way to utilize this for us to gain an advantage. And it's going to take each hitter to have an opportunity to have a pitch to challenge, right? Because you go up there and you may just see a bunch of good pitches or have an at-bat where there's nothing challenging or nothing to challenge, and then suddenly, 6-7 at-bats later, you get a pitch and you're like, that was close. I don't know. Should I challenge it? It's the 4th inning. So at some point or another, everyone's going to have to kind of go through a challenge, or they're just going to say, no, I'm not going to challenge at all, and I'm going to wait and only challenge the ones that are blatantly obvious. But I think the system is going to be very fun to watch and see who's good at challenging, who's not, who's more aggressive, who's not, and ultimately, is it going to be a situation where you're going to feel not bad, but you're going to feel as if we should always use your challenges. Like, and the Mariners didn't use any last night. Like, are they feeling that no matter what now, moving forward, we got to burn them either way? Like, is that just for learning, right? Like, even if it's the end of the game and you're losing, but why not use them anyways to just see, like, just to learn from what's happening? And even if you get it right or wrong, it's just like, okay, there's some knowledge gained there.
Yeah, certainly a new strategic wrinkle and one that gives us something else to talk about, which is always enjoyable. So it'll be a big part of our conversation, I can already see, throughout the course of this season. We will keep talking about that with Shannon Drayer. She joins us at 8:30. But right now, let's get to Blue 88.
This is Brock and Salk's Blue 88.
We're going to go red, right, tight, close, sprint left, G, U corner, halfback, flat, on one. Ready?
Brock Ewart tackles 3 football questions as only he can.
Blue 88.
Now here's your hosts, Brock Ewart and Mike Salk.
Okay, that is very true. Like only he can. Brock Ewart and 3 football questions. So we're not going to do 3 football questions today, Charlie. They did this yesterday with Ryan Divish. Salk and Divish did 3 baseball questions. Ooh, big switch up there. Blue 88 doesn't really apply to baseball, but you know what? For the point of this exercise, it is. It's going to apply today. So somehow Blue 88 relates to baseball today with you as we dive into 3 baseball questions, Charlie. We start with number 1 here. What did you think of Logan Gilbert's pitch mix in his outing last night?
Yeah, Logan impressed me right out the gate. I did not expect to see him throwing as many cutters as he did, and the amount of cutters over the course of the outing was, I think, impressive. But, he has so many tools at his disposal, and after hearing him talk about the performance after the game, I was impressed, his willingness to talk about that he has 6 or 7 pitches, and he has to figure out ways and when to use these. So, it's nice to have all these weapons, but he realizes that there may only be 1 or 2 right pitches to throw at that moment. And sometimes having too many options can be challenging. So he's, knows that he has to do more homework and a little more scouting to get to a point where he knows what to throw exactly when he should throw it. And having that relationship and that rapport back with Cal just allows him to do that more effectively. And I didn't expect to see as many cutters as I saw last night, but I was really impressed with the way it was moving. So I think it could be a really nice new weapon for Gilbert this year, but it's going to be really paramount for his success on when he throws that pitch, because obviously debuting it, and I think he threw it, 15 plus times last night. Typically maybe would be more in favor of the slider. I think that's going to be the challenge, is when to throw the cutter and the slider, because they're both at that 88 to 91 range, and one of them's got a little more depth, one's got a little more cut, and how to use that effectively to get guys out. And that'll be the challenge this year. But it was good to see. I think it's just another weapon that's going to make him more effective.
Yeah, 7 strikeouts.
Exactly. No
nice
walks.
Little start there for Gilbert. Yes, no walks. Does give up the home run to Lauder.
Also just pitches down the middle, though, right? I mean, when
crazy debut there.
Right. I mean, tip your cap there. You had a good day, DeLauder. But I think when you look at the mistakes that Logan had, there weren't that many, and they just capitalized on the ones that were over the middle of the plate.
All right, number 2. All right, Charlie, what stood out about New Mariners reliever Jose Ferrer in his first appearance?
Whew, easy 98. I mean, it didn't seem as if it was coming off that hard, but I was certainly impressed to see him in a Mariner uniform and knowing that he's gonna take that weight off of Gabe Spire for everything he did last year. And what a great left-handed reliever to have in the middle of the ball game when you need to get a ground ball out. And as somebody who's so good at getting ground balls, I think that's going to be a huge asset for this Mariners bullpen throughout the entire season, is to have Ferrer come into situations after the starter comes out, or even in a situation where Spire pitched 2 nights in a row and he's got to take the 8th inning. This is just going to add another whole weapon for the bullpen and the Mariners as a whole, and to have a lefty throwing 98 is just so nice to see.
Anything in the bullpen that also kind of piqued your interest with those new guys, with Criswell and Ferrer, or just anyone who threw yesterday?
It's always nice to see the new guys. I mean, I think seeing Criswell there at the end, just to see how he is in the big league game, what he looks like, where that, obviously gave up a homer last night, but I think seeing the other guys in the bullpen, for me, I always, I was more impressed at the end of the day. I'm still very impressed, even though it didn't work out with Spire right there against Ramirez. I was really impressed with seeing where Spire was at, because he came out and it was like 3 pitches, strikeout, like ready to go. And I think that's so valuable to have a guy in the bullpen that knows how to throw strikes and it does it right out the gate. And yeah, I mean, he didn't have necessarily the worst outing, but another guy that I think you're going to continue to rely on throughout the entire season to get guys out late in the game.
All right, number 3. Charlie, we saw a version of Dom Canzone that I will settle on an official nickname by the end of the show, I promise you. Thank you for all the suggestions, 866-979-3776. Charlie is partial to Bomb Canzone. I guess I'm going with Bominick, though, to call him by his full name. But, yeah, we like that version. I do love all the suggestions. But can the version that we saw last night, 2 home runs, can that be the one we see all season, or some semblance of that gives the Mariners another power-type bat throughout the lineup?
I think so. I think, the steps he made last year in his career and the advancements at the plate that he continues to make, that Bomb Canzone has that power, right? That's why we're calling him Bomb Canzone. Come on. I think he's going to be a huge impact if he keeps swinging the bat like he has the ability to. And if you can add that extra layer of power in the lineup, especially in the second half of the lineup, it makes the lineup so much harder to deal with, because there's no break, there's no gap in what kind of damage that can be done. So when you look at that lineup, and obviously we probably won't see a ton of Donovan home runs, but the next guys down the line, Rowley, Julio, Naylor, Rosarena, Rayleigh, all those guys can hit homers, right? And you throw Canzone in afterwards. I mean, you got a lineup full of guys that can do damage. Now, obviously, not wanting to see only home runs out of the Mariners, I think this guy, what we saw out of Dominic Canzone, can just add a whole nother level to this lineup that allows them to go out and continue to compete at the highest level and get it done.
Do you think there'll be a point where he'll eventually work his way into more of an everyday role. They have the platoon set up well here, where righties are going to have Rayleigh and Canzone in some form, and it was Canzone as the DH last night. Really love what Ref Snyder can do against left-handed pitching. Is there any way, and then again, wild extrapolations here after just one game, but do you think they'll stick with this? Or if Canzone is really just continuing to do this against right-handed pitching, do they give him a chance against a lefty starter? You know, we saw last year, there were stretches where they faced 3 lefty starters in a row. Are they not going to play Canzone in a situation like that?
You know, the way it historically has worked is that if you're going to produce offensively, you're going to be in the lineup. And I think that's going to be the challenge, is when, if they're going to ever deploy him against a left-handed pitcher. And I think he's done pretty well historically against these lefties. So it would be, I think, a little odd to not give him the benefit of the doubt if he's playing well and swinging very well. When you're locked in, it doesn't matter who's pitching, right? Like when you get a streak going and you're hitting the ball, your timing is so on point, it doesn't matter who's pitching. So if that person, and it happens to be Canzone, is really cooking, it would be super smart to let him play, right? I think that's where you're going to turn a part-time player into an everyday player, is by using those streaks of hotness and letting it shine, and not worrying about the matchups, being like, no, this player is good. He actually is going to fill a gap that we didn't expect. Maybe we don't need a platoon anymore. Who knows?
Yeah. All right, that is our baseball version of Blue 88.3 baseball questions with Charlie Furbush. You nailed that. Much better than Brock ever could. So, all right, good job there, Charlie. Good stuff in that conversation. We're going to get back to elements of that conversation, including some more questions we have about the lineup coming off of last night's game. Mike Lefko and Charlie Furbush with you. Brock and Salk here on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
It's the biggest development yet since the Sonics left for OK.
Wait a minute. You better watch your mouth, sunshine.
One step closer.
The NBA Board of Governors did vote yes to explore expansion here in Seattle.
Stay up on the very latest on the NBA's potential return to Seattle at seattlesports.com. And the conversation continues on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
We are on a magic carpet ride.
Brock Ewart here with my buddy Shannon O'Kelly from IRG Physical and Hand Therapy. Shannon, we met about a decade ago when you came into the studio, and at that point, IRG was humming, but you were not 40 locations strong all over the neighborhood. How have you done this, and why?
Number one, Brock, great people. Our strength here at IRG is our people. Secondly, we are a company that has a culture of giving back and taking care of our patients, taking care of our team, and thirdly, taking care of our community. We want to be your family physical therapist. More importantly, we want to be your family's neighborhood physical therapist. We want you to come in, have a great experience, and get better and get out there and be pain-free and function.
Take care of your friends. Taking care of your neighbors, taking care of your community, and taking care of Western Washington. With over 40 locations now, that's exactly what IRG Physical and Hand Therapy is doing. Find them in person, find them online at irgpt.com. That's irgpt.com.
Hear that? Sounds like simple. Valvoline Instant Oil Change simple. No appointments. About 15 minutes to change your oil. Then out the door and back to life.
Yeah, honey, on my way.
Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Expert service doesn't need to be overcomplicated.
Visit America's Car Museum now, where history roars to life. If you loved Ford versus Ferrari, see Shelby Cobras and GT40s in the birth of the American supercar. Cruise-ins, drive-ins, race simulators, fun for all ages. Plan today at americascarmuseum.org.
Trust is everything. Earning it takes years. Losing it takes 5 seconds.
Lee Johnson Auto Family.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
ZipRecruiter. Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Couponing. Wow, you didn't strike me as the coupon type.
Just trying to stay ahead of inflation. Gas, groceries, everything. It's all more expensive. I need to save wherever I can.
Have you tried Upside yet?
Upside? What's that?
It's a free app that I use that pays cash back for every gallon of gas I buy. You've got to buy gas to get around anyway. Might as well get paid for it.
Come on, does that really add up to anything?
I've already made around $200. The extra cash helped pay down my bills, and I even had a little extra left to treat myself.
And the Upside app is free?
Totally free, and the cash back is real. You can transfer the cash right to your bank account.
I'm downloading Upside right now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code ENJOY to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, to PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code ENJOY for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code ENJOY for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
If you don't care about saving 50% off your wireless bill for the same 5G coverage the big guys are charging a fortune for, maybe you care about keeping jobs in America. Pure Talk does. They've pledged to run their entire operation from this country, including all their customer service. Or maybe you care about our nation's veterans. Pure Talk does. They've donated hundreds of thousands of dollars to America's Warrior Partnership, a fantastic organization working hard to prevent veteran suicide. Or maybe you care about closing America's skills gap. Pure Talk does. They're a proud supporter of MicroWorks. They're helping my foundation train the next generation of skilled workers. Don't get me wrong. Saving money's great, and you'll save plenty with Pure Talk. But if you want to be in business with people who share your values, dial pound 250, say micro, and switch to an American wireless company that actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Get his freaking auto!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
I don't read the internet, guys.
Take the bull by the hands.
And Brooke Heward. And Brooke Heward.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Heward and Mike Salk.
I don't need any of them. We're solving the top questions here this morning on Brock and Salk. Mike Lefko and Charlie Furbush here with you. We have solved a mystery that has long baffled you, Charlie. We got to thinking about it because of baseball and coffee. We're talking about Dom Canzone and the World Baseball Classic. And then, Team Italy and their espresso machine. And then you got to thinking about Vinny Pasquantino. After his big home runs for Team Italy, he told our John Morosi, I'm beamed up. I just got a lot of coffee in me. And then somehow that led us to believe, well, wait, why is it called a cup of Joe? And I had never really thought about it. I was like, I don't know, Charlie. It just is. All right, what a dumb question.
It's like,
but then
who's Joe?
I got curious. I was like, all right, why is it called a cup of Joe? And there are 3 theories, I guess, why it's called a cup of Joe.
Do you have a leading in the clubhouse?
I mean, I would like the combination of Java and mocha. So there are 3 reasons that pop up there. Common referred discussions why coffee is called cup of Joe. One is because it was the average man's drink. Joe was used to represent an average person. Therefore, cup of Joe was the drink for them. I don't like that theory. That's dumb. Josephus Daniels, the Secretary of the Navy, Josephus Joe Daniels, banned alcohol on Navy vessels, making coffee the strongest beverage available. I don't. Okay, well, no, I don't like that either. I think the common, you combine Java, mocha, Joe, shorten it, there you go. All right, so we'll go with that. But that's how our long, meandering process of Dom Canzone to coffee to Vinny Pasquantino to Cup of Joe gets us here. There you go.
And the beans taste great this morning.
Then the beans do taste great this morning. All right, so we're ready to talk some more Mariners baseball. Shannon Drayer joins us at 8:30 to break down last night's game. Charlie, when you look at this lineup, we all heard about how much depth this lineup was going to have, and it certainly looks like it on paper. You look at the top 5 in this order. It's a terrifying top 5 to opposing pitchers. When you go down, you have Donovan and Cal and Julio and Naylor and Randy Arozarena. So at their fullest, at the most complete version, this does look like a very deep lineup. And then when you have Canzone doing what he did last night, Rayleigh chipped in with a home run, it definitely looks complete. But then you also have this chunk of the order not coming through. And yes, we have to preface that it's an unfair, small sample size. You literally have one game to go off of. I wonder, though, if part of the early concern, if there is, maybe there's not concern, but if when you see Julio go 0 for 3, and you see Cal go, or both of them go 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts, I wonder if some of this is kind of based on the back of the World Baseball Classic, where Cal also struggled in the WBC. And then you're like, okay, well, in this competitive setting, 0 for 9. Now this one as well, and fans start to be fatalists. I among them at times, so I get it. But when you look at the middle of the order last night, yeah, in one sense, I get it. It's kind of frustrating. None of those guys produced. How would you kind of sum up where you see this lineup is right now?
Yeah, I still think this lineup is primed to be a very dangerous lineup in the American League and across the league. But, as there's going to be a handful of games over the season where you'll see another performance like you saw last night. Too many strikeouts, too many swing and miss. But it's not anything to be concerned about. I think the one thing the Mariners are going to have to kind of manage internally as best they can are not letting, any sort of expectations get in the way and just trying to take it one day at a time. They've always, obviously with Dan Wilson at the helm, he gets it better than anyone to relay this message and knowing that, hey, yeah, we want to be there at the end, but we got to take care of our business tonight. So taking it one game at a time will always be the approach, but that's just how it's going to be. I think you're going to have to accept the fact that your best players on your team, and that's the nature of baseball, are going to have off nights. And it just very rarely is going to happen where it's Cal and Julio with 3 strikeouts apiece back-to-back in the lineup. We could be sitting here at the end of the season, and I would say that may happen twice all season, right? Like the fact that it's happening in the same game, I don't think that's going to happen very often. I don't see that happening for those guys in the lineup and the damage they can actually do once they get cooking.
Plus, they're known quantities. You know these guys are good. They have put up season after season of stellar production. So, yes, I'm not worried about those as well. But then you look down the lineup, and there are a lot of known quantities. The one unknown, certainly coming into the season, Cole Young, because he had such a small sample size up in the bigs last year, and he struggled, and he was sent down. Had a great spring. Everyone's optimistic about him. But when you look at someone like Cole Young, what's the challenge for him now early on in the season where he does strike out 3 times last night? He doesn't have that base of background knowledge, say, well, look, I know in my mind I'm confident. I have all these at-bats of a Cal Raleigh and a Julio that they can bank on past performance. For Cole Young, what have you seen from him in this very short sample size, but now moving forward, how he gets past this?
Yeah, I think Cole has had a couple of at-bats where I think he took some too big of swings, and obviously when the guy in front of you hits 2 homers, maybe you get a little homer heavy yourself, and you come off of
I want to keep it going.
Yeah, well, and you come off of his spring training where he did some damage and continued to show the player that he can be. Yeah. And I think that's the tough thing as a young player is how do I manage my own expectations and the pressures around that and simplify the process and go out there and get it done. And a lot of this stuff you don't know until you experience it, and whether you experience it for the good or bad, I just feel that he's at a point where he learned a ton last year, and he's going to have to make a ton of adjustments as the season goes on to be the player he wants to be, because it's not going to be easy playing in the big leagues and trying to be competitive at the plate. I think I saw just a couple swings that he got a little aggressive, and that's great. I think he's going to be in a position where he's going to be able to swing that way more often. But last night he just looked a little overmatched, and I think he was a little homer heavy in the swinging. So for sure.
Now he is going to be a big part of this team, and I don't think there's any reason to think there's another option right now at second. So that path for me, that's the journey I'm most curious about. Anyone in the lineup, it's Cole Young's progress and what you might get out of him. If you get that viable threat we saw in spring training, that's why this lineup is complete and one of the more dangerous threats in the American League and maybe in baseball.
Yeah, for sure, without a doubt there. But I think that I don't know, but it feels as if the leash could be not as long as it appears with Cole Young, because I don't know if there is any, not good performance, how long the Mariners let that go. And maybe because he's still so young, he needs a little bit more seasoning down in AAA. So I don't know how long, they're going to let any sort of offensive slumping happen. Certainly they're going to give him as much opportunity as he can get. And I think that he has the ability to run away with a second base job this year. But at this point, knowing that, there was still maybe a question mark going into the season, how well do you perform early on, I think is going to dictate how much opportunity you have throughout the rest of the year.
And one guy we didn't see, we're probably not going to see until tomorrow because the Mariners face another right-handed pitcher tonight, Gavin Williams, then a lefty on Saturday, is Rob Refsnyder. And that strong platoon that it seems like the Mariners have, where you could go Canzone or Raley, and then Refsnyder off the bench against left-handed pitching. This is what Justin Hollander broke down here on this show yesterday to Mike Salk and Ryan Divish about what they think Refsnyder will bring for them.
I just think he fits really well in all the ways that this roster needs. Veteran, someone who's been around winning teams and winning cultures, no concern of him coming in here and sort of doing anything but adding the environment on top of a skill set that really was necessary. Losing Polo and losing some of the balance from the right side was a big loss for us, and it was a reason we aggressively pursued Polo when he hit free agency this winter. Finding a player who could balance us out and make sure that we weren't in a situation where we got exposed constantly by left-handed pitching was important to us, and Ref was at the top of the board. He's just been one of the best players versus left-handed pitching in the league for the last 4 years. I think he's third in on-base percentage against lefties over that time. Just having a guy who, when you plug him in, he knows exactly what his role is. He's awesome at his role, and he's great in the clubhouse.
Is that something that stands out to you compared to last year? There is more stability in that side of the platoon, or more stability at what they bring in at a DH spot or any other spot when it's, hey, it's a lefty, we're confident in this lineup, or it's a right-handed pitcher, we're confident in this lineup.
Yeah, I think having that, as Justin alluded to, filling the gap that Polo had last year, I think that's where, when you look at how the team was built last year and the late signing, if you will, of Polanco, and then to have that great season and really did a tremendous job as a switch hitter. You don't want to have that gap in your lineup and production, especially against left-handed pitchers. So I think having to add Refsnyder into this lineup and be just a confident plug-and-play every time you're facing a lefty just allows you to, I think, navigate what you have to go through from series to series. So, like you said, I'm excited to see him get in tomorrow. Like, it's going to be fun to, see him in action. And I think that's the same thing. It's like, I feel as if sometimes he's talked about as if, oh, well, he hits 700, 800 off left-handed pitchers, right? I think there's maybe temper the expectations that, okay, just because he hits them so well, it's not, he doesn't go 4 for 4 every time he faces them, right? So, but I think that's the thing, is the Mariners maybe have been exposed in facing left-handed hitters. So adding that balance, adding a guy that has a history of dominating lefties should just give them the edge they need.
All right, a lot more Mariners news to discuss, including some schedule notes that you'll want to learn about, because it does impact not just one team, but another as well. All that coming up next here. Mike Lefko, Charlie Furbush with you. It's Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
It's the biggest development yet since the Sonics left for OK.
Wait a minute.
You better watch your mouth, sunshine.
One step closer.
The NBA Board of Governors did vote yes to explore expansion here in Seattle.
Stay up on the very latest on the NBA's potential return to Seattle at seattlesports.com. And the conversation continues on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
We are on a magic carpet ride.
There's nothing better than having a big fish on your line.
Make this the year you take that unforgettable fishing trip to Queen Charlotte Lodge. Time is running out for summer bookings. Experience a luxury resort and amazing fishing with your buddies, family, father, or son. King salmon runs, halibut, and lingcod are always plentiful. Book your stay at fishqcl.com and use code ESPN. Experience fishing first class. Experience fishqcl.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Hi, Chuck here at Frank Lumber the Door Store. Something that happens here most every day are customers and contractors looking to purchase doors they can take today. Frank Lumber has a good selection of pre-hung display doors that are ready to go. And if we don't have what you need today, whether it be style or size, and you find a door in stock, we can still get you taken care of quickly. Come visit our showroom and bargain barn in Shoreline. Also, be sure to check us out online at franklumber.com.
Hi, Sarah here with Safeway. We're proud to partner with Champions of Change co-founder Doug Baldwin to help nourish Washington students through the Nourishing Champions program.
Thanks, Sarah. And here's the reality. Every day, students across our state are staying after school for extracurriculars on empty stomachs, and some of them don't know where their next meal will come from. Food insecurity is reaching crisis levels, and the impact on our youth will extend far beyond this moment. The good news is that there's an answer in the federally funded after-school meals programs. But right now, Washington schools' participation is very low, reaching only 2% of the students who qualify.
That's where Nourishing Champions comes in. We're offering grants that not only fund food, but also resource and training support for the schools to offer an after-school meal program for years to come.
Our goal is to reach 10,000 more students in the first year of these grants and then grow from there. School staff can learn more and apply today at championsofchangefoundation.org and navigating to the Nourishing Champions tab. That's championsofchangefoundation.org and click on the Nourishing Champions tab.
Running a business means wearing multiple hats. So if you're like me, you probably started out using your personal phone, taking client calls and texts nonstop. As my business grew, I needed something smarter. That's when I switched to Quo, the #1 business phone system. Quo works right on your phone or computer. No carrying 2 phones, no clunky landline, just one easy app you can try for free. Your team can share one number and handle calls and texts together like a shared inbox. Any teammate can jump into the conversation so customers get faster responses. And Quo's AI assistant summarizes your calls and responds to customers 24/7, so you never miss a lead or opportunity. All this starts at just $15 a month. That's basically 2 coffees. You can even keep your current business phone number. Find out why 90,000 businesses trust Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try Quo for free at quo.com/sports. That's quo.com/sports to try Quo free. QUO.com/SPORTS.
T-Mobile has an exclusive bundle for customers 55 and up.
I'm Sarah Bowl.
Yeah, I'm Frank Bowl.
A reliable network is key for us. And with T-Mobile, it's been wonderful. And going to the 55-plus plan saved us so much money.
A lot.
And that's important. Trying to keep costs down. The home internet's been perfect. It's fast, it's quick. The setup was so easy, it took less than 15 minutes.
It was like, ta-da! If you want simplicity, coverage, reliability, you want the whole package, T-Mobile has it.
Right now, T-Mobile customers 55 and up can get 2 phone lines on America's best network, plus America's fastest 5G home internet for just $30 each.
$30 per month each line with autopay plus taxes and fees. Minimum age 55. Pricing for home internet rely on 2 lines of Essentials Choice 55. $35 connection charge per line required. Best mobile network and fastest 5G home internet based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data 2H 2025. All rights reserved.
For over 113 years, Pacific Lamp and Supply Company has been your #1 lighting specialist in Washington, from the Space Needle in Seattle all the way to the Riverwalk in Spokane. With the largest lighting inventory in Washington, Pacific Lamp's knowledgeable and experienced staff can assist with any lighting issue, including intricate lighting and control designs. Plus, they work with all utilities in Washington to get you the best available lighting rebates. Pacific Lamp and Supply Company, Washington's lighting experts since 1912. Visit pacificlamp.com.
Do you like helping others? Become a Sheba volunteer. In Lewis County, join the hundreds of volunteers across Washington state who help over 90,000 people each year with their Medicare options and questions. You don't have to know Medicare. We'll teach you. And if you're bilingual, even better. For more information and how to apply, call Sheba at 1-800-562-6900 or go to insurance.wa.gov.
Sponsored by the Office of the Insurance Commissioner and aired by the Washington State Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Presented by Marquee Data. Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Well, outside of the result of the Mariners game, we got some Mariners schedule news as well. Yesterday, Mariners President of Business Operations, Kevin Martinez, was on Wyman and Bob, and he was talking about that situation on Wednesday, September 9th, where the NFL announced the Seahawks will begin the season Wednesday night. Lo and behold, the Mariners already had a game scheduled for Wednesday night, so Kevin Martinez says, yes, we're going to accommodate the Seahawks, and this game will be moved.
Now the Hawks are going to play on that evening, the 9th, and they reached out to us and said, hey, would you be willing to move your game to a day game? And, I said, well, if the city of Seattle will work with you guys and us to do that, of course. This is incredibly special for, the Hawks and the city of Seattle and fans. So I think it will be an incredible day of sports in Seattle, because if we're doing what we think we're doing, that Wednesday afternoon will be a meaningful game against the Texas Rangers. And then to be able to walk across the street after the Mariners take care of the Rangers and watch the Hawks unveil a Super Bowl champion banner and get after it, that's going to be a pretty memorable day in Seattle as well.
So no official time yet, but you heard Kevin Martinez there say afternoon game. That's pretty cool then. You're going to have a fun doubleheader. I think we got a little used to that now. After the doubleheader in October, that Seahawks-Bucks game feeding right into Game 2 of the ALDS. If we have more of those, I'm all for it.
Yeah, it just makes the city electric, man. Absolutely so cool. And I'll say it again, but, Seahawks win the Super Bowl on their 50th anniversary. And Mariners going on their 50th anniversary. Can we get a World Series, Mike? I don't know. I think we can.
I like that. All right, so that's way down the road. And more immediate schedule news. Game 2 of the season tonight at 6:40. That means a 5:30 pregame show here on Seattle Sports. George Kirby gets the ball for the Mariners. Gavin Williams for the Guardians.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
Charlie, we also had some interesting results yesterday around baseball. The Astros mustered just 3 hits. They were shut out by the Angels. They lose 3-0. Angels are alone in first place because the Rangers lost. We know the Mariners lost, and the A's haven't played yet. They're one of 6 teams who began their season tonight. A's, Blue Jays. That's going to be pretty interesting, an upstart A's team. And the Blue Jays, who won the American League last year. But, yeah, you have that strange dynamic. They're the Angels, alone in first. Serious question, though, long term, when you look at this AL West, who could threaten the Mariners in this division?
Yeah, it's a good question. Between, let's remove the Angels from this conversation.
Yeah.
I really don't see
1-0 aside, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Angels.
I don't see the Angels doing anything, but between the Astros, Rangers, and A's, it's going to be, I think kind of a fight for second place. I do think that Houston is not where they ever used to be. So I don't see them having the depth. They have experience for some players, but I don't know if they have necessarily that depth to compete. Now, the Rangers, also kind of the team I don't know how to, judge quite yet. As historically, they've always been aggressive. They've made moves. They've obviously coming off a World Series a couple years ago. And then you got the A's. The A's are the ones that I think could be a little challenging, especially offensively speaking, but it's their pitching that makes me think that their offense won't be able to withstand the rigors of giving up so many runs and then having to score so many runs. So right now I'm going to put it at the Rangers that are going to give the Mariners the most trouble.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
About 30 thrilling / such agonizing, miserable minutes yesterday, after our show ended, of course, after Wyman and Bob came to an end, I shared with, among others at Victory Hall, the back and forth of Purdue, Texas in the Sweet 16. 4 games last night, narrowed the field down, and we'll have the final 4 games today to get you down to your 8 in the Elite 8. But the game of the day was the 2-seed Purdue against the 11-seed Texas. It took till the final seconds before Purdue emerged victorious.
Dreams are reality right now. Braden Smith with the ball. Clock ticks. Down to 6. Down to 5. Smith shaking. Bacon. Smith puts it up. No! The follow! It's good! With .7 left. Trey Kaufman-Wren has given Purdue the lead. A chance at the last shot. It's up. No good. Purdue advances.
Charlie, I'm going to play this clip until you get as excited as I was last night.
I mean, it honestly gave me a little, again, the announcers giving me glimpses of Ricky Bobby.
Yeah.
A little shake and bake, you know what I mean? Unbelievable, yeah. But the Boilermakers, they got it done. What is a Boilermaker?
It's someone who works on trains. And that's all I really
the mascot?
know about that.
The
Yeah.
train worker?
Well, it's
Purdue?
an actual train, and then you have a guy they call Purdue Pete. He's got a terrifyingly big head, and he's got a hammer, and he just does a bunch of hammering, working on those railroads, you know?
Okay, fair enough.
So there you go.
Yeah,
That's
keep
that's
playing
a
that clip,
Boilermaker.
though. That was a good clip to end the game. That was
It's
fun
and Brian Anderson is a great baseball voice as well. So
Yeah.
he's the TV voice of the Brewers, and then does a lot of postseason baseball for TBS. So you've probably heard him. I believe he was on some of the Mariners calls.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Fox did a lot of their games last year in the playoffs. But yeah, he's been around. So Brian Anderson, a great call on that one. And then one more thing you need to know: the Kraken win in overtime in Tampa last night. They're 3 points out of the final playoff spot in the West. 11 games left in the season. Schedule gets tough, though. They play Buffalo coming up. Sabres have been the hottest team in the East since the Olympic break. And then the final game of the season, it is the hated Avalanche that the Kraken are playing. The Avalanche, all they've done is have the best season in hockey this year. So going to be tough, but the Kraken in the thick of the playoff race here with 11 games left in the season. That is everything you need to know, but plenty more to get to when it comes to the Mariners after this opening day to kick off the 2026 season. We're going to bring in our Mariners insider, Shannon Drayer, to break it all down for us. We have ABS questions. We have questions about everything. So Shannon's here to answer all of them. Mike Lefko, Charlie Furbush here with you. It's Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
It's the biggest development yet since the Sonics left for OK.
Wait a minute.
You better watch your mouth, sunshine.
One step closer.
The NBA Board of Governors did vote yes to explore expansion here in Seattle.
Stay up on the very latest on the NBA's potential return to Seattle at seattlesports.com. And the conversation continues on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
We are on a magic carpet ride.
Highlights don't win games. The full box score does. I'm Brock Hewitt, and most business leaders aren't short on data. They're short on clarity. Numbers are scattered across ERP, CRMs, and spreadsheets, making decisions reactive instead of confident. And that's not how great businesses are built. Marquee IQ brings all your data together into one clear view, even if it lives in disconnected systems or offline, so you can see what's really happening and act faster. Stop running your business on highlights. Get the full picture. Visit datathatwins.com to see what Marquee IQ can do.
We've all been there. Sleepless nights, mind racing, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Video security, burglar alarms, fire alarms, access control, 24/7 monitoring, and more. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy, knowing we're here for you, your people, and your business. Visit bayalarm.com to talk to a local security expert. Bay Alarm, we got you.
For over 50 years, Bucky's Complete Auto Repair has been the one locals trust for honest pricing, expert service, and guaranteed repairs. This dedication has earned them a Carfax Preferred designation. At Bucky's, every customer gets detailed Carfax updates, timely service reminders, and a full service history, all at your fingertips. With 16 family-owned locations, no appointment needed, and easy financing, Bucky's makes auto care simple. Visit Bucky's.com today and drive with confidence. Bucky's.com.
The sun is shining. It's a beautiful day for baseball.
At T-Mobile Park, you've always got the best seat in the house. Case in point, your ticket might be for the view level, but it's more like Skyline City. Up here, it's hard to say what'll take your breath away first. The gorgeous Seattle sunsets or the spectacular views of every incredible play.
Josh Naylor!
If you like value with a view, it's the perfect place to take quality time with the family to a whole new level. Literally.
A bases clearing, 3-run double. Everybody on their feet here at T-Mobile Park.
Mariners baseball. Trident's up.
Don't miss the Mariners opening homestand, featuring tonight's AL West Champs replica banner night at 6:45, thanks to T-Mobile. Tomorrow's Cal Raleigh 60 home run bobblehead night at 6:40, presented by Alaska Airlines, and a showdown against Aaron Judge and the Yankees Monday through Wednesday. Get tickets at mariners.com. Start having fun. Caesar Sportsbook at Muckleshoot Casino Resort is your #1 place to eat, drink, watch, and have fun. Keep up with your favorite sports anywhere and everywhere on property with the mobile app. Visit muckleshootcasino.com today. Scan the QR code and let the play begin.
Muckleshoot. At Pacific Power Batteries, we know that 3 out of 10 people are pretty good with math. The other 8 people, not so good. That's why we're here to help you select a battery with the best value of dollars per cold cranking amp, per minute reserve capacity, or per amp hour. We speak battery and often use a calculator. So come visit us at Pacific Power Batteries, where, with a 12-volt battery, we'll throw in the extra 0.6 of a volt for no extra charge.
Heading outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nelly on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, Brock Ewart here with my buddy Shannon O'Kelly from IRG Physical and Hand Therapy. So much more than just physical and hand therapy, though, Shannon. You guys, holy smokes, do you have a lot of specialty care?
Yeah, Brock, we do. You know, obviously our nuts and bolts is good old musculoskeletal, but we have a lot of therapists that do advanced certifications in specialty care. And that's important because we can treat the whole population. We can treat your neighborhood. We can treat your family. And those specialty services range from neurovestibular care to dry needling, sports medicine, hand therapy, pelvic floor, vestibular rehab, lymphedema, you name it, we have that service. Again, we're about taking care of the whole family and the whole family's needs.
Remember, IRG, they're in your neighborhood. I'm talking over 40 locations and new additions in Wallingford and the WAC as well, that Washington Athletic Club. You can find them in person. You can find it online at irgpt.com. That is irgpt.com.
Call 877-CARS-FOR-KIDS to reach a friendly live agent. Donation is super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now or go to carsforkids.org.
Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
Spring is the perfect time to make improvements that protect and add value to your home. Hi, Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. For decades, homeowners across the Pacific Northwest have trusted our team for roofing, siding, windows, and custom decking. This spring, save up to $3,000, or qualified homeowners can take advantage of 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest up to 24 months. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today to schedule your free estimate.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Mike Lefko and Charlie Forbush here with you. We're now joined by our Mariners insider, Shannon Drayer. Hoop, Charlie, we had to not bully a little. We had to peer pressure a little bit into doing some of our morning routines, which involve perhaps wordling, and then also coming on the show this morning. It was a late night for everyone. So, Shannon, good morning. Please put Wordle aside for a second, but thanks for joining us today.
No problem, but everybody has to stop because my phone is still getting the messages.
It's a pretty heated Wordle discussion, Charlie, we have going on. Maura, myself, Justin Barnes, and Shannon. It's our Wordle group. You're not invited. I'm sorry.
Okay, fine.
Yeah. All right. Well, no, Shannon, thanks for waking up with us. Charlie was excited. He got here at 6 a.m., which I said normally the analyst on this show doesn't do that, so we appreciate it. So we're glad you're here as well. But, there's plenty to talk about after just one game, and I know there'll be wild overreactions as well, Shannon. But just the overall impression of what you took away from this opening day? Something, fan related, on-field performance. Just what was your sense of the entire day yesterday?
Well, the day, it was great to feel the excitement in the building. We've been hearing about it, and you've been feeling it when you walk around the city, and everybody's just been eager to get baseball back, which is great. That's what you want to see. And the production that they have, not just on the special games, but day in, day out, they can make it a real event when you go to the field. And it was. To have it sold out, almost 45,000 people there last night, it made you feel like if you took a second to take it all in, when you were, when the game was going on, it was like, yeah, this place is really cool when it's full. And you had a little bit of a feeling that you were back in the postseason again, which was just such a great experience, those games at T-Mobile Park. In fact, I was just laughing because before the game started, I turned around, there's Bob Stelton, and then all of a sudden, there you are. I'm like, oh, we're doing this again, are we? It was, the full house up in the booth and just the excitement that was there. So that was great. And then after that, it was kind of a typical game that you might see. First game coming out of the desert after the big celebration. You really don't know what's going to happen in that game. There's so much extra in that game. Logan Gilbert trying some things out, I think, and trying to establish some things for this year. Some guys a little bit locked in, other guys still trying to find it a little bit, and I think that you could see that. And then, of course, the surprise of what Brendan Donovan did. And just, I think he got the memo that they like to do big things big. At T-Mobile, they like the big production. So, by the way, for your first at bat, why not just hit a home run in front of a sold-out crowd? So I think it had everything but the win last night.
Now, Shannon, we can't not mention our new favorite player here on the show. We, I think, gave him a new nickname because of his immense power. Instead of Dom Canzone, it's going to be Bomb Canzone. What have you seen from him that suggests?
Terrible.
Oh, Charlie was so proud
I was
of
so
us.
excited.
No, we did solicit text ideas, and there were plenty.
Yes.
We had a ton around that vein. But yeah, Charlie was so excited to drop that. You ruined his entire morning, I have to say.
Yeah.
Well, he shouldn't have even been there. He clearly didn't get the memo. He started too early.
It started too early, exactly. But what have you seen from Dom that suggests maybe a step forward in his career this year?
I don't think it's just this year. I saw it last year. And I think that Dom has been, and I've said this so many times, I've got to stop saying it, but I'll say it one more time. He was so under the radar in spring training. He sneaky had a good spring for whatever that means. And we didn't really see him too much because he was with Team Italy, and then he just shows up and starts doing what he does, and he hits home runs. But I think that when he came over from the Diamondbacks, we were just like, well, who's this, And he goes to the minor leagues, and he comes up, and you saw some strikeouts early from him. And I really think that there was this idea that he was a guy that was going to strike out a ton. And then all of a sudden you start seeing the power from him, and you're thinking, okay, he's going to be an all-or-nothing guy. But if you went back and you studied what he did in the minor leagues, no, he wasn't a strikeout guy. He was a pretty decent hitter in terms of being a hitter. And I think we saw that once he, was sent down early, came back up. Once he came up, it wasn't, I think, a fluke that he was able to hit some of the home runs that he was able to hit. Got comfortable, did some work while he was down in the minor leagues, has now had a full off season to prepare. And now I think he knows a little bit more and who he is at the major league level as a hitter. And to see him go out there and hit 2 home runs, that's never going to be a surprise for me because we know he's got that power. Let's just see if he can hit for average like he did last year. That's the variable that you're not sure of. And if he's going to hit a lot of home runs, that helps with the average too. But I don't see a player there that should be a surprise. I think it's a really intriguing player at this point. And if you look at what he and Luke Raley did, against righties, this team could be a real menace.
Shannon, I want to get into something that you mentioned when you came on here about Logan Gilbert. I caught the very end of you and Ryan Rowland-Smith breaking it down on the postgame show last night. So to just kind of elaborate on what you guys were talking about, what did you really make of Gilbert's increased cutter usage in his pitch mix?
It's something that he looked to add 2 years ago, and he did throw it a bit. It was his 4th or 5th. I think he threw it about 10% of the time in 24, and it was more a pitch for effect. It was more a pitch to help his other pitches, particularly against lefties, to get players off of the fastball a little bit more, get them off the barrel a little bit more. It's kind of pitch that you can put in play but it was nothing that he was going to rely on. We knew he was throwing it a little bit in spring training, and it was thrown off a little bit, as was Ryan Rowland-Smith, because we all talked to the pitching coaches, and, well, what's new? Because this group is just famous for adding pitches. And, the answer we were getting is, well, we're really just encouraging them to continue with what they have, because at some point you're pretty complete. They're pretty complete right now. Let's focus on what makes you good. And that didn't stop a couple of guys from going out there and playing with some other pitches. You'll see the changeup from George Kirby tonight. And with Logan Gilbert, he was throwing the cutter. I figured it might be like in 24 that is how he would use it. But then we get into the regular season, and he's throwing it first pitch. He's throwing it for strikeout pitches, wipeout pitches. And he threw it quite a bit. He threw it 22% of the time, mainly to lefties. There were a lot of good ones. There was one giant mistake one in that game. But to me, that said that he was pretty determined that, you know what, this is a pitch that I'm going to use this year, and we're going to throw it in this game and get it going. And I do think it's a pitch that can help him. He explained it, a lot of the things I just said with it. Plus, he's a guy that's been chasing a two-seamer for a long time, and it just doesn't work with the arm angles that he has and what the other pitches that he throws and the way that he throws them. So, he's tried, but it hasn't been a viable pitch for him. The cutter can do a lot of the things that the two-seamer can do when he pairs it with the four-seamer. And I think that if he gets that and has that and is a little bit more comfortable with it, which I think he was attempting to get there last night, I think that he will have a chance to avoid the one pitfall that he had last year, and that was just getting into the too long at bats, not being economical. They were able to foul off pitches. This might help him get that ball put in play a little bit more, and you'll see him get deeper in games, which is one of the ultimate goals that he has. He's a guy that can go out there and throw 200-plus every season. That's what he wants to do, and I think he went to work in trying to add that weapon this offseason, and, he and Cal are on board. We're going to throw it. We're going to get it out there. Let's get it going, and I think that's what we saw last night.
Shannon, do you think the ABS system and the approach the Mariners are taking will change? I think we saw last night Stephen Kwan challenge a pitch early in the game only to not get the call go in his favor. Do you think that changed the approach throughout the game for how the Mariners deployed the ABS?
No, I don't. I think they know how they're going to employ it, but I think it was kind of one of those funny things. It's like you're doing it all spring, and then all of a sudden, it's really different in front of 44,000 people with the lights on and the game counting. I think that, I think Cal got caught in between in the eighth inning. You could just see it. You could see he was thinking, do I challenge this? And just kind of a hesitation there. And you don't have the time with that. You have to do it right away. And that wasn't an issue in spring training. You weren't as worried about it in spring training, and they'll get that fixed pretty quick. As for the DeLauder ball, yeah, that was a ball, but it was just on the edges. And two batters into the game, you're not going to risk losing that challenge for a ball that is that close. It's not that you're not going to get it because it's right. It's because you're not going to be sure because it's that close. There was another challenge later in the game where the ball was probably about a ball off of the plate, maybe, 3/4 of a ball off of the plate, and it was later in the game. That's the time to do it. And so there are different counts that they'll do it, different situations that they will do it. And if it's absolutely egregious, they will do it. But if it's just on the edges early on, you're not going to take that risk because they do want to have those challenges going, or they want to have at least one challenge going into the late innings. So I wasn't surprised that they didn't challenge on the second player of the game, even though, everybody that could look at it could say, well, that is a ball. Well, it was barely a ball, and that's a tough decision to make split second. And in that situation, I don't think you're even thinking of making that unless it's just something that is way off.
Shannon, we've already talked about it this much one game in. Are you surprised that it's so much of a strategic addition, or is it just because it is so new? I mean, do you think this will continue to be a big point of strategy game in and game out now for teams?
It should be. It's a great tool.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great tool, but it's a safety net. It's not something that is supposed to, clear every wrong that is made during a game. It's however you want it to be, but it makes the most sense to be the safety net. I'm not saying you have to save them all until the ninth inning, but if it's the first inning, if it's the second inning, you still got a lot of game. There are things that you can do. And nobody was on base. Let's say, there's one out and the bases are loaded in that situation. Maybe you look at it a little bit differently then, but with nobody on in that situation, you can absorb the one run if he hits it out there. So the thing that really kind of struck me was, there were two things. A, it's not as easy as it was down in Arizona. And B, man, these players after the game and Dan Wilson after the game were all of a sudden learning this is going to be a topic. Yeah. They were asked about it. Logan was asked about it. Cal was asked about it. The manager was asked about it. And all of a sudden, that's something different right there. And my hope is that everybody gets used to it. Everybody kind of understands what the team is trying to do there. And that doesn't become a talking point as we go on.
Yeah, Shannon, in the bullpen, we got to see both of the left-handers make a debut for this season. And obviously, one of them we would like back, at least one pitch. But what did you see from Jose Ferrer? I think this guy was going to be a great addition to this bullpen.
Yeah, and I think we saw what he was kind of advertised to be. We saw him throw mainly the sinker. Like to see a little bit more of the slider and the changeup, too. But we did see the high velocity. We saw that there were times where, okay, it's a little scary. He's on the edge with that pitch right there. But ultimately, comes in and is able to get the job done. I was interested to see, as I am with all relievers, what's the heartbeat out there? What are they like out on the hill? And he was pretty much like what we saw in spring training from him, and pretty much what it appears his personality is as well. He kept it in control, but it was a little bit of a looseness to him. But I think this is going to be a really good fit for him. I think that, being down in that bullpen with that experience, the thing that just keeps jumping out at me is he told me he was really excited to, with the Nationals, he did have a chance to talk with Finnegan a little bit, but it wasn't in his language. With Andres Munoz down there, a person who does what he does in the situations that he does, he can have better conversations with him. He can talk about the emotions. He can talk about the heartbeat, things like that. He just thought that was something that would help him a little bit as well. So I'm glad he got into the first one and got that one out of the way. But I think I'm with you. I think he's going to be a nice addition.
Shannon, I think, was Logan kind of asked about pitch comm, if he called any of his pitches last night? Yeah, I know he said he didn't. Do you think that will be a thing with Kirby? We know he wanted to really experiment with that and take the ownership of his pitching tonight. Now in a situation like this, hey, it's a game that matters. It's Cal Raleigh back there catching with you. Do you expect any kind of pitch comm usage for Kirby, or what are you looking for tonight with him?
I think, he felt pretty good about the pitch comm. The only question I think there was just the technicalities of it, how you use it. Make sure you hit the right button. It was something that was new for him. Did he get to try that enough during the spring? He only did, I think, 3 games. So I'm not sure along those lines, but he really felt that he wanted to take a little more command of his game, in that if he called a pitch himself, he believed that he would have more conviction in it. And it's not, excuse me, Froggy. Let's remember that they have their pitching meetings before. They have the conversations of what they want to do before. They are usually very much on the same page, the pitcher and the catcher, going into a game. The pitch comm for George would just be situationally. If he's seeing something that he perhaps can, exploit a little bit more, or if he feels particularly strong or good about a pitch in a situation, that's something that he would go to. And he also wants to avoid the shakeoff. So I think if Cal calls a pitch, or if Mitch calls a pitch that he doesn't like, or if he has a different idea, rather than waiting to go through it, which there's a little bit of a problem with that now with the time clock, he might just punch that in right away. Or if he just, has a feeling, and when I say a feeling with a pitcher on the hill, that means he's been reading swings and he knows how something feels. It's not just, I think I'll throw this here. Then he might shoot that across to the catcher first thing. But I think in spring when he was using it, it was just a handful of pitches where he actually did call it.
Now, Cole Young came in this year, I think, with some big expectations. Tough performance last night, 3 strikeouts. Thought he maybe looked a little overmatched, or was taking some big swings, bigger than I expected. What do you think he needs to do to take the next step forward to really, anchor down the second base position?
Just do what he did in spring training. Just take the work that he did in the off season, in the cages with the hitting coaches, and take it into the game. And don't put too big of an expectation on yourself. I don't think he's someone to do that. I don't think he is someone who knows, well, I can hit a ball 478 feet, so I should be swinging for the fences every time. I think, there's a possibility that maybe the moment did get a little bit big for him, but he knows what his approach should be. And I don't think there's any panic in him that he didn't have, one of the better games last night, that he did swing and miss a lot. Oh, middle of the order swung and missed a lot last night, too. So I think he needs to settle into it, stay committed to his plan, and keep with the work that he has been doing. And I think he'll be okay. It was really interesting that, he talked quite a bit about it is the fastball, and he has to keep within his approach, and that does include the fastball. He's a guy that doesn't swing and miss a lot. He doesn't chase out of the zone, and that leaves him susceptible to not being on time for the fastball. And to battle that, he's been working on the trajectory quite a bit before games and, just getting a little bit better feel for it. Brendan Donovan talked about the trajectory too and using that quite a bit. And it's a piece of equipment that they got a few years ago, and it was all the rage because we'd never seen anything like it before. And if you don't know what it is, it's about as perfect a pitcher simulator that you can get. It puts the picture of the video of the pitcher on the mound, and it can basically, pitch you a ball and make it look like it would look out of hand of said pitcher. And it was just interesting to hear those two players talk about it and using it for in-game, because for a couple of years, I don't think the hitters were using it as much, and all of a sudden it's coming around a little bit more. It seems to be a better tool for minor leaguers before they get called up, for rehabbing players to be able to use to, see some pitches that they're going to see at the big leagues rather than what they're being pitched in the cages traditionally. So really interesting to hear that a couple of players are using that a little bit more.
Yeah, that is interesting. So Donovan's doing that not between innings, is he, or just before the game itself?
No.
Before
I
the
would
game.
imagine it's before the game. It's usually they put up the starting pitcher, sometimes a reliever, and you can't take too many swings off of it because, you'll exhaust yourself. Yeah. But, you can take a few, you can watch, you can see it. And I think I have heard of a couple of players that if, they're getting ready for a reliever, particularly if they're in a pinch hit situation, they might go down and take a look at it in the cage too.
All right, well, great stuff. One game in, already a great performance from Shannon Drayer, and the game wasn't the result for the Mariners. But guess what? Best part about baseball, you do it again today and tomorrow and almost every other day after that. So, Shannon, thank you for joining us this morning. I know you have pregame coverage beginning at 5:30, so everyone tune in at 5:30. But we'll let you go so you can go Wordle. And thanks for joining us this morning, Shannon.
All right. We'll tackle this one. Thank you, guys.
All right. That's our Mariners insider, Shannon Drayer. Yeah, we were kind of peer pressuring her this morning, I think, to make sure she was awake as well, because when the game ended last night, we were joking. It was a quick turnaround, and Shannon said, hey, if I'm asleep, you know what, I might be asleep. She was joking, like, yeah, I might be asleep, not setting an alarm. It was a late night. I was like, all right, well, we'll call you anyway, wake you up. And then Morris texting her Wordle answer. Justin chimed in. I was like, all right, I better text my Wordle answer as well. And then we knew Shannon was awake.
So more importantly, how do I get into this,
you got to do it consistently.
Group?
You got to prove that you're good enough. I don't know. Maura, are there any more qualifications beyond that?
I don't think so.
That's it.
Really?
I think we have our moments. Sometimes we're good, sometimes we're not.
It was spawned based on the fact that we're all just sitting around here in the mornings. Okay. So I guess you want to show up consistently, put in the effort, right? Put in the work.
I've been known to do that.
All right. Well, we'll see. We'll see. Maybe Charlie will work his way into the Wordle group. We have been slacking. We need someone to keep us diligent in this. All right. So you can have that role. Interesting stuff there from Shannon. Just a quick thought from you, Charlie, about what she kind of went into with ABS and the fact that the Mariners have this plan. We think, look, they have a set system of what they want to do. We talked a lot about it. Was it interesting to hear how much it maybe caught everyone off guard that it's going to be scrutinized so much that after the game when she said, look, Dan was asked about it, Logan was asked about it, Cal was asked about it. Now this is a big thing to put at the forefront of their maybe pre-meeting strategy or their pre-series strategy or pre-pitcher meeting. They have those starting pitcher meetings. Maybe it's something that becomes folded into what they work on now leading into a matchup against the starter.
Absolutely. I think that's where they have a plan going into it. They're going to take their approach and try to implement that as best as possible. But as you are using a new technology, if you will, a new feature, a new thing that you can rely on to help yourself be successful offensively and defensively, how that looks and how that unfolds, I don't know. I guess I'm of the belief that, they're going to challenge like the real obvious ones, but at some point or another, I think it's going to be worth gambling and taking a chance, because you may change the course of an inning, an at-bat, a game. So being able to, have the ability to gamble a little bit, it's going to be fun to see how that unfolds and how their approach, changes, right? And who knows, maybe there's a couple months in and there is a player or two that stands out that knows the zone better than anyone else.
That's what I'm curious about.
And who's going to be the guy that goes, I know the zone, and is like successful in their challenges.
Well, I'm wondering if as more tape gets in on these challenges about a certain pitcher who might be close to a zone, if teams adapt to that. So in the situation of Quan last night, we're talking about Logan Gilbert's cutter that he really utilized a lot more. Quan challenges that pitch. Well, look, it had that late break to it, and clearly it's a pitch that came back into the zone. Now, if there's a lot of film on Logan Gilbert, a couple of starts in, maybe teams are more aware, all right, well, this pitch is one that looks like it, but hey, don't challenge on that. I'm fascinated by the strategy of this as it evolves, because it was never a thing. We saw it. We were teased with it in spring training last year. They're like, well, this is not happening in the majors. It's just going to stay in the minors. Then it got rolled out. All right, Major League Baseball, it's happening. So all of spring training, you were challenging, but there were no stakes. It was funny. We were down there, and you were down there as well. It was more of just like everyone tuned in, like, all right, did he get it right? He missed it, you dummy. But there were no ramifications. Now, there are actual ramifications that we saw play out last night if you do or don't challenge.
Right, and you just don't want to be in a situation where it's late in the game and you don't have any left. So that's going to be the the challenge that everyone's going to go through is, well, we want to make sure that in the late in the game, we got at least one challenge left, if not more. But, how that unfolds and who knows the zones. And like you said, bringing up some video and now looking at pitchers and the way they throw and angles and seeing where things can be, I guess, challenge, right? Where can you find the gap? Where can you find the opportunity and ultimately do it in the right way that doesn't, screw over your team in that sense, right? You don't want to be like, oh, no, I challenged in the first or second inning. Now we don't have one. And then another one in the fourth inning, we have none left. So there's going to be a little more hesitancy about how this is deployed and what they're doing and whatnot. But I think at the end of the day, it's going to be worth trying to gamble and get a call, because as I saw in spring, as we saw in a handful of games, like it can change the outcome, and I think this is going to be a good thing. Like, you're late in the game, and a call goes against your team, but you can't challenge it. Now you have an opportunity to actually challenge it, and taking that at bat away or that pitch away is not fair. So now having a system in place that allows you to ultimately get the call right is just going to be more enjoyable for the players and the fans.
Maura, you see this text? 509. Got the rare 2 guesses today. Get out of here. 509. No one likes someone who brags. I would be bragging if I got into. Congrats.
I was at 4.
I was at 4 as well. Hey, all right.
I was at 0.
There's your first test. When this show ends, do Wordle. If you get it in fewer than 4, you might be invited into the group. All right, there's the challenge laid out for Charlie. Maybe everyone else as well. You can be in our Wordle group if you get it in fewer than 4 guesses today. We have a couple more conversations to dive into, some key conversations earlier this week on this show that kind of lead into what we can expect from very important players on this Mariners roster. It's For You in Review. Coming up next, Mike Lefko and Charlie Furbush here with you. It's Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
It's the biggest development yet since the Sonics left for OK.
Wait a minute.
You better watch your mouth, sunshine.
One step closer.
The NBA Board of Governors did vote yes to explore expansion here in Seattle.
Stay up on the very latest on the NBA's potential return to Seattle at seattlesports.com. And the conversation continues on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
We are on a magic carpet ride.
Can you imagine a world where you leave the house and you take your home Wi-Fi speeds with you? Well, thanks to Xfinity Mobile, it's not just a fantasy. Just picture it. You're at your kid's soccer practice. You're streaming the other game in 4K just like that. Or how about in the airport? You can download a cozy family comedy in a snap with Wi-Fi Power Boost. What if the places you had to be felt more like everywhere you wanted to be? That's the magic of Xfinity Mobile. Reliable Wi-Fi and 5G when you need it. Xfinity, imagine that. Cut your mobile bill in half with 2 lines of unlimited. Visit XfinityMobile.com to learn more. Some restrictions apply. Xfinity Internet required. Savings based on promotional rate for 2 lines of Xfinity Mobile Unlimited versus regular rates for 2 lines of T-Mobile. Experience more. Verizon Unlimited Plus and AT&T Starter as of 2/10/26. Taxes and fees extra. After promo, the regular rates apply, but go check it all right now. Put it right in your fingertips with XfinityMobile.com.
Start having fun. Caesar Sportsbook at Muckleshoot Casino Resort is your #1 place to eat, drink, watch, and have fun. Keep up with your favorite sports anywhere and everywhere on property with the mobile app. Visit MuckleshootCasino.com today. Scan the QR code and let the play begin.
Muckleshoot. When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
My perfect day has sand, salt water, and friends. But my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can take me out of the moment. Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi. Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, most people saw 90% clearer skin, and many were even 100% plaque-free at 4 months. Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
If you've gained 20, 30, or even 40 or more pounds over the past few years and nothing seems to work anymore, listen up. I'm Dr. Coogan with Eastside Weight Loss, and our completely medication-free program has helped thousands in Washington lose 20 to 30 pounds in just 60 days. No drugs, no weekly shots, no muscle loss, no side effects, no forever monthly costs, just food, but the right type, in the right amount at the right time. All part of a detailed plan with expert coaching every step of the way that helps you reset your metabolism and burn fat. Schedule your free phone consult at eastsideweightlossclinic.com.
Yeah, Mike Salk here, and Dr. Coogan is right. I can attest to losing 35 pounds with Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. It works. It's safer, less expensive than alternatives, with no injections or pills, and no scary side effects. Schedule a free consult and find out for yourself.
Over 4,000 people have lost 20 to 30 pounds or more in just 60 days. Come to our clinic in Kirkland or do our program from anywhere you live with our remote options. Schedule your free phone consult online at eastsideweightlossclinic.com.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
Let's go!
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
This hour is brought to you by Davis Law Group.
Get in the freaking auto! From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
Brock Heward and Matt Marcus. Sorry about just Mike.
Heward, not exactly Joe Cap there in the pocket.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Heward and Mike Salk.
Mike Lefko, Charlie Furbush here with you. Been a good Friday morning so far. We're solving some world problems, coffee questions, Wordle, confusion, all of that. But a lot to get to, and as they usually do on this show, time to kind of turn back to some of the best conversations we're going to dive into. It's For You in Review.
Brock and Salk present For You in Review.
Time for our weekly chat with Jeff Passan from ESPN. We've got Joel Clark. Good morning, Joel. Let's talk to Coach McDonald.
This is For You in Review. Brought to you by the Seattle Sports YouTube page, where you can find the full version of every interview.
And Charlie is just bumping over here to the music. Look at this. Look at those jams. Not the greatest moves as you'd expect, but it's early in the morning. That's okay. It's tough to dance in your chair. It's not about you. It's just about we're seated. It's tough to dance in your chair.
Let's see your moves, Lefko.
No, I don't have good ones at all. I didn't even try, so I'm not even going to try. I didn't mean it that harshly, Charlie. I just meant, look, we're constricted. We got armrests here. We're kind of locked in.
From the waist up, we're dancing. That's what it is.
That's true.
It's
all right. All in the shoulders.
Right. Yeah.
You can only do the shoulders pretty much when you're trapped in a chair. So some good tunes aside there. Yes. If you go to our YouTube page, I'm going there right now to check out all these great conversations throughout the week from all of our shows, and including this one on Brock and Salk, where now Jeff Passan joins as he does every week during the baseball season. And then I thought this was really interesting. I want to get your perspective on this, Charlie. This was Kevin Seitzer on yesterday here with Salk and with Ryan Divish. Again, go to the Seattle Sports YouTube page, check out the entire conversation. He was breaking down why he thinks Julio has found his identity as a hitter and mentioned something specifically that they worked on with him last year.
I think you're right with him finding his identity. I think it's been more of pointing him in the right direction as far as what his focus, his plan of attack, his approach needs to be in the batter's box. I mean, a lot of times when hitters get in there, they just want to see it and hit it. They're not what we call, Julio and I have a term, it's called target practice. Pick your target and go hit the ball there, whether it be middle of the field, the off gap, maybe right at the second baseman, maybe right back at the pitcher. It's target practice. And that was one of the things that helped him last year in the second half to get rolling. It allowed him to be a little bit more disciplined as far as his chase and put him in better counts, kept him a little more short, compact, allowed him to stay on secondary stuff better.
What did you notice out of that from Julio last season? And then, yes, kind of strange to be diving into this after a night where he went 0 for 4, 3 strikeouts, but from that perspective, why is this something where, hey, that performance last night from Julio, the 3 strikeouts, is more of an outlier than anything that you'd expect moving forward?
I agree. It is an outlier from what happened last night, and what I've seen and what we've all seen over the course of the last 4 or 5 years from Julio is still an incredibly talented baseball player. And you hear Seitzer talking about just his approach, and I think that's where hitters do get into that mode where they just, see ball, hit ball, and part of that can get in the way because you just want to get hits all the time and you're just being aggressive. So it sounds as if Julio's finally in a place, mentally where he is just going after the pitches that he's getting and not trying to do too much and being aggressive. And sometimes as a younger player and a guy that has pop and wants to do damage, you end up chasing. You end up swinging outside of the zone and pitches you can't handle. So it feels as if Julio's at a point where, this last night is a kind of an outlier of a performance, but technically or generally speaking, he's going to be a better player. And I think that we still are all looking at Julio and saying, is this the year you finally put it together? I mean, 25 years old, still super young, and the amount of experience he has, I think the ceiling is still as high as it's ever been with Julio. And he continues to show up and put the work in and become a better baseball player. And I think that's where, when you have this experience as a hitter and you realize the ups and downs of a 162-game season and trying to stay within yourself and stay within your approach, that's what he's continuing to learn. And I think that Seitzer and Edgar Martinez are just hammering that into him and allowing him to be himself.
Yeah, Julio will be, as always, one of the biggest points of conversation all season if he's doing well and living up to those MVP expectations, or he gets off to another slow start. So that's not a topic that's going away anytime soon. One that we'll get more clarity on perhaps over the next few series and maybe even over the first month is how the Mariners start. And the starts of seasons have not usually gone well from the Mariners. You look at those first 2 or 3 series, I was just kind of looking back. I don't really want to dive into the numbers, but last year and the year before that, it took them a while before they actually won a series. So we'll hope that changes. But this was, I think, pretty fascinating from Jeff Passan on this Mariners team dealing with the weight of expectations. If, say, maybe a slump happens again where the first few series don't go their way or they run into that blip, why he thinks this will be different for this specific group.
They've been through all of that, right? And so when you've been through it, you know how to weather it. You know that expectations can be the death of you. And so that's something that is within your control. And so much in this game is not within your control, Mike. It's like when you're at the plate, you have no idea what's coming, and you have to adjust to it. It's an inherently reactionary sport. When you're in the field, same way. The only person who's controlling anything are the pitcher and the catcher. And it just so happens that the Mariners have what I think is, when Bryce Miller's healthy, the best rotation in baseball. And they have a lineup that's been through the vagaries of ups and downs. So I think if they were young and this were new, it would be a little bit more difficult. But I think they're honest with themselves about the nature of baseball.
What do you think about how this lineup and really just the roster beyond that is built? Mix of veterans and newcomers on the roster.
I think it's as balanced as it's ever been. You know, I think that's where, when you look at the roster over the past so many years, I think you could probably find a gap or two in the lineup, and hopes that you're getting a player that maybe didn't have a great season but would sign with the Mariners and then have a good season. And I think that right now they've always been battling who that guy is going to be, and now I feel they're in a position where this lineup is pretty steady, and they went out and got the pieces to really fill those needs with Naylor and Donovan, and it just makes this lineup, in a way, complete, right? I think that's where you look at how some of these games have unfolded and what the Mariners have done offensively over the years. It just feels as if sometimes they're just a bat or two away from, getting to the next level. So now with the additions of what happened with Naylor last year and how impactful he was, and then obviously with Donovan really, really securing that lineup, in my opinion, I just feel as if they're ready to take this to the next level based on how close they were last year and what you learned from that experience.
Yeah, last year, I hope, gave a lot of people confidence based on what they did to finally stabilize in September. And then, of course, what happened in the postseason. But there was always that, well, how do they just find level footing, avoid those big, deep slumps? And on this roller coaster ride of a season, you have the extremes, or we saw them rattle off, an 11-game win streak over the back half of the season, something like that. But it was because they had slumped below the Astros in the division. So this group just feels steady. It feels like you're going to have a loss or two. All right, you might lose a series. That's not going to compound into a 6-game losing streak. It's not going to be something where you lose 7 of 8, or like last year where first couple of series losses led into then the pitfall of going on the road and getting swept in San Francisco, something like that. It just doesn't feel like this team is going to let itself get too sideways one way or the other. They stay very steady, very level-headed.
I agree. And I think as the season unfolds and you look at last year and the moves that were made, I think historically the Mariners haven't always been active in getting rid of prospects to get big league guys. And last year you saw them get rid of some prospects to get some guys on the roster. And I wouldn't be surprised come the deadline if Mariners are in it again, they're running the West, if they're just a piece away from really taking this team to the next level, whether it's a bullpen arm, an offensive piece. I would be shocked if they don't go down that road again and say, all right, well, we have such a good minor league system and we're continue to, develop players year over year that we can sacrifice a little bit of that, future upbringing to get a guy now that actually would put us over the edge. Because when you look at how the season unfolded, and especially into the postseason, obviously we could talk about how different it would have looked last year had Brian Wu been healthy the whole postseason, right? I think that would have changed the approach. But still, they dealt with so much adversity last year, and to get where they got to, it just shows me that they're at a place right now where if they're really into it, I wouldn't be surprised to see not necessarily their top prospects go. Obviously, everyone has their untouchables, which the Mariners have plenty. But, getting into that top 10 and say, all right, well, we can sacrifice this guy to get this guy now. Yeah, we're going to sacrifice some future maybe talent or potential. But what we, in turn, is hopefully get a player that allows us to get 1 or 2 more wins, and that could be the difference to get us, get the team into the playoffs.
All right, that's For You in Review. Mike Lefko and Charlie Furbush here with you. Up next, a lot to know after some history was made on opening day around baseball. It's Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
It's the biggest development yet since the Sonics left for OK.
Wait a minute.
You better watch your mouth, sunshine.
One step closer.
The NBA Board of Governors did vote yes to explore expansion here in Seattle.
Stay up on the very latest on the NBA's potential return to Seattle at seattlesports.com. And the conversation continues on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
We are on a magic carpet ride.
Hi, Sarah here with Safeway. We're proud to partner with Champions of Change co-founder Doug Baldwin to help nourish Washington students through the Nourishing Champions program.
Thanks, Sarah. And here's the reality. Every day, students across our state are staying after school for extracurriculars on empty stomachs, and some of them don't know where their next meal will come from. Food insecurity is reaching crisis levels, and the impact on our youth will extend far beyond this moment. The good news is that there's an answer in the federally funded after-school meals programs. But right now, Washington schools' participation is very low, reaching only 2% of the students who qualify.
That's where Nourishing Champions comes in. We're offering grants that not only fund food, but also resource and training support for the schools to offer an after-school meal program for years to come.
Our goal is to reach 10,000 more students in the first year of these grants and then grow from there. School staff can learn more and apply today at championsofchangefoundation.org and navigating to the Nourishing Champions tab. That's championsofchangefoundation.org and click on the Nourishing Champions tab.
There's nothing better than having a big fish on your line. Make this the year you take that unforgettable fishing trip to Queen Charlotte Lodge. Time is running out for summer bookings. Experience a luxury resort and amazing fishing with your buddies, family, father, or son. King salmon runs, halibut, and lingcod are always plentiful. Book your stay at fishqcl.com and use code ESPN. Experience fishing first class. Experience fishqcl.com.
Running a business means wearing multiple hats. So if you're like me, you probably started out using your personal phone, taking client calls and texts nonstop. As my business grew, I needed something smarter. That's when I switched to Quo, the #1 business phone system. Quo works right on your phone or computer. No carrying 2 phones, no clunky landline, just one easy app you can try for free. Your team can share one number and handle calls and texts together like a shared inbox. Any teammate can jump into the conversation so customers get faster responses. And Quo's AI assistant summarizes your calls and responds to customers 24/7, so you never miss a lead or opportunity. All this starts at just $15 a month. That's basically 2 coffees. You can even keep your current business phone number. Find out why 90,000 businesses trust Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try Quo for free at quo.com/sports. That's quo.com/sports to try Quo free. QUO.com/SPORTS.
The sun is shining. It's a beautiful day for baseball.
At T-Mobile Park, you've always got the best seat in the house. Case in point, your ticket might be for the view level, but it's more like Skyline City. Up here, it's hard to say what'll take your breath away first. The gorgeous Seattle sunsets or the spectacular views of every incredible play. If you like value with a view, it's the perfect place to take quality time with the family to a whole new level.
Great teachers with grants of $500. Great teachers with grants of $500, courtesy of WSECU, the credit union for Washington. Teachers are the real MVPs. Nominate an exceptional teacher now at mynorthwest.com/teacher.
Whatever's on your schedule this season, Toyota of Kirkland has your ride. With Tacomas, Tundras, and 4Runners. From Toyota of Kirkland, built for power, capability, and room for all your gear. These models are the perfect teammate for the Northwest adventure. Any of them. Take a test drive today and drive home with your new Toyota that same day. Get your season rolling at Toyota of Kirkland or online at toyotaofkirkland.com. That's toyotaofkirkland.com.
O'Brien. Not sure how to tackle your taxes? Are you sweating the small print? You may be experiencing FOMO, the fear of messing up. The answer? Using TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They help you get your biggest refund, and then we help you do more with it. With a personalized plan designed to help you hit your money goals. It's time to take your taxes to the max. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
Progressive knows it ain't easy navigating the open plains of home insurance, but there is one man who can help tame that wild herd of options. The Home Quote Explorer.
Note, Progressive's Home Quote Explorer is not a real person, but an online tool that lets you compare home insurance.
He's the type of fella who helps you decide on the right insurance, even if it ain't with him.
Again, not a person, just an online tool that helps you find great home coverage.
A real pioneer.
Okay, fine. Just do the thing. Yeah! Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Presented by Marquee Data. Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Everyone's bragging about their Wordle guesses today. Don't rub it in for Charlie. Poor Charlie's over here. He's grinding. He's getting close. We learned that Charlie did not know what Wordle is, despite wanting to be in our Wordle group.
Yeah.
So now you're in it for the first time.
Now I'm in.
All right.
I have 2 guesses left to get it. I have 3 of the 5 letters correct.
No, don't say the letters because people get mad if you spell it. Good.
I'm just saying.
So he's got 3 in the right spot with 1 guess remaining?
2
guesses remaining. All right. We will keep you updated on this saga. That is the first thing you need to know. But outside of that, yes, Mariners do fall in the season opener despite 4 home runs, 2 from Bomb Canzone, as Charlie has affectionately dubbed him. I go with the Bominic Canzone. We appreciate all your suggestions as well on the text line. But he hits 2. Brendan Donovan hits 1. Luke Raley hits 1. Mariners do fall, though, 6-4. Game 2 of the series tonight. It's a 6:40 first pitch, 5:30 pregame coverage right here on Seattle Sports. George Kirby gets the ball for the Mariners against Gavin Williams for the Guardians.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
Sorry, a lot of action happening around baseball as well. So in the division, the Astros were shut out. The Rangers, they rallied. They were getting shut out as well. They were shut down by the Phillies until a little bit of a late rally, but they lose. They lose 5-3. So the Astros lose, Rangers lose. Angels are alone in first place. A's begin their series against the Blue Jays tonight. It's a 3-game series in Toronto. When you look at all these teams, you know, the Rangers made the splashy move, getting Mackenzie Gore. Not a lot of people are talking about the Rangers. Are we sleeping on what that rotation could do for them? Or is this kind of the opposite? Like, hey, their rotation's great. Their offense is suspect. The A's, we talked about it. Their lineup's great. Their rotation is suspect.
I think you nailed it. That's what it is. I think there is a little suspectness when it comes to Texas and their offense, and then Sacramento and their pitching.
The wandering A's.
The wandering. Yeah. I know, exactly. Soon enough, they'll be in Vegas, though. Yeah, I mean, when you look around the division, it's just, to me, it's still the Mariners' division to be had, and everything's going to have to go through Seattle. And you saw it last night with a packed T-Mobile. It's going to be packed this weekend. It's going to be packed next week with the Yankees in town. I mean, really just a great way to start the year off with just bringing back that playoff mentality in week 1.
Well, there's also been a WBC slump for Team USA. I don't know if there's any correlation. It was brought up. This was a quick little article in The Athletic this morning that, you know, Aaron Judge, obviously 0 for 5 with 4 strikeouts. He was the only Yankee to not get a hit. Cal, 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. Paul Skeens, no, it wasn't his fault. Yes, we understand there are some defensive lapses behind him, but only last 2/3 of an inning. Logan Webb gives up 6 runs. So I don't know. Maybe there's some bad voodoo hanging over Team USA from their losses. But then on the other side, you have your guy, Canzone, with 2 home runs based off that Italy run through the WBC.
Yeah, it's hard to tell whether there is any sort of, stuff leaking from the World
Who
Baseball
knows if there's a
Classic.
correlation?
I don't know. But, I mean, it is – I know from a player perspective, it is a little strange sometimes knowing that right when you get into games, when the season starts, they're like the most meaningful games. So, going from spring training where you can kind of coast into the season and get your work ready and get your, yourself ready mentally and physically – you're on and it's for your country. So it's a different feeling. So I would imagine maybe there is something that they're trying to overcome.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
Easy items to get to. Yesterday, Mariners President of Business Operations, Kevin Martinez, was on with Wyman and Bob. He said the Mariners will be moving their start time on the night of September 9th. I also thought it was funny. He told them, hey, we planned on the Seahawks opening the season at home like the Super Bowl champions do, so we had our Thursday night game set for a day game. Late in the season, you sometimes don't have that getaway day. You have a 3-game series, and it sounds like the original plan was all-night games. Seahawks win the Super Bowl. Okay, they planned for that. Mariners had put their Thursday game as a day game. Well, lo and behold, the NFL says, nah, we're not doing the Thursday thing we've been doing. We're going to have a game in Australia. So the Seahawks officially announced to open the season on Wednesday, September 9th, and the Mariners said they will move their game to a day game. So there you go. That also impacts the Sounders. They had a game scheduled on that night. It's been moved to October 1st. So everything moving around. These are the good problems you have when you win the Super Bowl.
And these are some of the best days in Seattle as a fan. The fact that you can go to a Mariners game, watch them, as Kevin Martinez said, take down the Rangers, hopefully in some meaning September baseball, and then go be a crazy 12 and root on the Hawks and celebrate that Super Bowl.
That is everything you need to know. One more note that maybe you're interested in if you like these zany opening day stats, because opening day in itself is a unique event. There are all these stats that pop up around it. So my favorite thing to track over the past now 6 seasons that came to an end, Tyler O'Neill, he had a streak of 6 straight opening days hitting a home run. That also included here against the Mariners in 2024, did it with the Red Sox. It sadly came to an end yesterday. He only went 1 for 2, only drove in a run and a walk as well. Geez, Tyler O'Neill. But no, that did come to an end in Baltimore's win. He did not homer. I know. Our lives will never be the same. The home run streak is done.
All good streaks come to an end.
They do. They sadly do as well. All right, well, Maura, sounds like, we have a special treat coming up. I know you guys don't usually do this on Fridays, but a special Friday edition of Here's the Thing. Is that what I hear?
We usually do calls, but you get a little nervous for that.
Ooh.
No.
I'm not surprised
I
anymore.
don't get nervous for that.
I can feel that energy
If Ryan
right now.
Divish can handle the calls, I could as well.
We didn't get to Here's the Thing this week, so I thought I'd ask the people to leave us some messages. So we have it's a mix of kind of Mariners. There's a question for Lefko in there. There's a song that someone came up with.
Okay, all right.
So just a little bit of everything.
Always an eclectic mix, so I was excited for this. Yes, we will do Here's the Thing coming up next. Mike Lefko, Charlie Furbush with you. Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Bump and Stacy, weekdays 10 to 2.
Joined by Mariners President of Baseball Operations, Jerry DiPoto.
Obviously, Dan's second full season. How has he grown?
He's about the relationship, and that's never changed. He doesn't have the panic, and his general state of calm, I think, is reassuring to the group in the dugout. And I know that our players really respond to the fact that he cares first about them as people.
Only on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
For over 113 years, Pacific Lamp and Supply Company has been your #1 lighting specialist in Washington, from the Space Needle in Seattle all the way to the Riverwalk in Spokane. With the largest lighting inventory in Washington, Pacific Lamp's knowledgeable and experienced staff can assist with any lighting issue, including intricate lighting and control designs. Plus, they work with all utilities in Washington to get you the best available lighting rebates. Pacific Lamp and Supply Company, Washington's lighting experts since 1912. Visit pacificlamp.com.
Home is more than a place to live. It's where the best of life unfolds, where possibility sparks, where community grows, where lives take shape. At the Master Builders Association of King and Snohomish Counties, that belief drives the work our builders, remodelers, and tradespeople do every day. Because when we build more homes, we're building so much more than housing. We're making room for what matters most. Learn more at roomforwhatmatters.com.
Now through March 31st, Lake Washington Windows and Doors is paying your sales tax.
plus offering easy 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for 12 months. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com today and save the sales tax.
It is time to rewind with the Nostalgia and Retro Convention in Puyallup this weekend. Get autographs and photos with Hall of Famer Edgar Martinez and Jay Buhner. Meet Dennis Rodman and Horace Grant, Sergeant Slaughter in the Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart. Music fans can meet J.C. Chazé from NSYNC, Tiffany and Debbie Gibson. Dive into a world of classic TV and movies with Ponch and John from Chips, Steve Gutenberg and Bobcat Goldthwait from Police Academy, and so many more. Saturday and Sunday at the fair in Puyallup. Buy tickets now at rewindwa.com.
Opened in 1933, our family is still here, doing the right thing for your family.
Lee Johnson Auto Family, the LJ way. Come in, have fun. Muckleshoot.
Start having fun. Caesar Sportsbook at Muckleshoot Casino Resort is your #1 place to eat, drink, watch, and have fun. Keep up with your favorite sports anywhere and everywhere on property with the mobile app. Visit MuckleshootCasino.com today. Scan the QR code and let the play begin.
Come in, have fun. Muckleshoot.
We've all been there. Sleepless nights, mind racing, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Video security, burglar alarms, fire alarms, access control, 24/7 monitoring, and more. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy, knowing we're here for you, your people, and your business. Visit bayalarm.com to talk to a local security expert. Bay Alarm, we got you.
Hey.
In the hidden depths beneath our feet, the foul waters of Helheim rage with the might of Yggdrasil. Don't let a simple drain clog lead to havoc in the undergrounds of your home. Summon the power of the North with Hunt Services. Our legendary $99 sewer scope will identify your plumbing issues and help you avoid costly repairs. And if a break is detected, Hunt's uses trenchless technology to repair your sewer line without tearing up your yard. Allow your plumbing to flow like the sacred rivers of Asgard. Get on the horn and call Hunt's for your sewer scope or trenchless repair today.
Here's a tale of Linda trying to lose weight, but the med prices she found were all over the place.
Hidden fees and markups made her jaw drop low. Then she found Good RX. Now she's in the know.
GLP-1 subscriptions FDA approved.
With clear upfront pricing.
And same-day pickup.
That's Good RX, the no-nonsense way. Save time and money on prescriptions.
Get to goodrx.com/weight loss. GoodRx is not insurance.
Ready to free your team from time-consuming office tasks? Amazon Business empowers leaders with smart business buying tools, leaving time to focus on strategy and growth. Free up your teams and focus on your future at amazonbusiness.com.
Get 5 quarts of Syntec Full Synthetic and a MicroGuard Select Oil Filter for just $32.99 now at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Limit supply.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
All right, you guys usually do this on what? Thursdays?
Yeah,
Wednesdays?
Thursdays at 8 usually.
Whenever? Okay. No, Thursdays at 8. No, I know there's a time for it. There is a time for it. Hectic week, busy, a lot happening with opening day, but we saved it for the best day of the week. You know, you got me, Mike Lefko, Charlie Furbush here. So now we're going to do it right here. It's time for Here's the Thing.
Brock Heward doesn't just hate one kid.
I am so disappointed in Michael Salk.
You don't know what you're talking about. You're mindless. Love you, bye.
It's time for Brock and Salk's Here's the Thing.
Okay, here's the thing.
Do we want to preface this a little bit for Charlie? I think we're just throwing him right into the mix.
I'm good that way.
We just decided to come up with a segment where we could hear from our listeners. And, when you do it ahead of time and don't do calls, it allows them to be a little more creative. So it's just kind of evolved into, we get...
That is important.
We even have a couple that sends us, full-on production songs. They have instruments and they harmonize and, it's fun time.
So if I were on our afternoon show right now, on Wyman and Bob, we like to get the listeners riled up. We like to poke and instigate them. Maura just said it gives them time to be creative. And I would not say that here, but I would say if I were in our afternoon show right now, well, yeah, because they're dumb and it takes them too long to get creative. Now, this audience doesn't know me as well, so I won't say that. That's for later. Send in your mean text later this afternoon. Did you say people wanted to send mean texts in for me today?
Well, we've had people ask in the past when you fill in if they can send
go
mean
for
texts
it.
since
Sure.
you're in. So I told them that they could make fun of you, and here's the thing. But
okay,
we didn't really get too much of that. Aaron in the Couve, who's a regular caller and message leaver, and here's the thing, has some questions for you, though.
All right, here's the thing. Mike Lefko, I got 2 questions for you, buddy. This is Aaron in the Couve. First off, I'm going to preface it with this. You've come on in the past, and Brock has taken a obvious interest in your love life. Seems to be very, very curious about your new girlfriend. It gets a little bit personal, and I understand, you seem to shy away from it, but I'd like to know where you at with all that. How's the progress going with your new boo?
We could pause it there and let you answer that one because he has another question.
I think we should pause there and let him answer for sure.
All right.
Yeah, how is the new boo?
It's going great. She survived watching Purdue basketball with me. So that's the ultimate test of a relationship, right?
That is because you stress me out, even just at work when you're watching. You guys took your first vacation together.
Yeah.
That's right.
Went to Hawaii.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which island?
The Big Island.
It's one of my favorites.
Yeah. I had no idea.
You've accomplished a vacation together, you're doing pretty well.
See, everyone here would refer to it as the Big Island. I go, all right, well, what's the name of it? I didn't realize that was the name of it.
Yeah, so
now I've been.
Fair enough. Well, just don't screw it up.
Big
dude.
This
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds like you got a good thing going.
I guess so.
You know?
No, it's been good. Okay, so that was part
All right,
one.
We won't torture you too
part
much.
one of what,
Yours
7?
No, this is his second
Okay.
question.
And then the second question is, buddy, is if AAA Tacoma came calling to ask for you to come and an opportunity to fill in or even possibility of working for Tacoma Rainiers, would you take that job and leave 710? We'd be very sad. Peace.
Wow. All right.
What? What are you looking at me with a smirk for?
What am I supposed to say? Hey, Kyle Brown, who's listening, our boss, yes, I'm going to leave. No. Come on. Why would you leave
I think
710?
just answer, would a AAA interest you? Because I know you do want to call games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I love this place.
Well, yeah, but
I love Seattle.
You can't.
The Rainiers are good.
True.
I love, the Rainiers are great.
But when you look at the opportunity
let me tell you this. So AAA is a grind. It's tough. It is really tough.
You're talking to somebody who's been through it, dude.
Yeah.
I get it.
That's true. What am I saying?
Okay.
I mean, as a broadcaster, you're a player.
I lived it, dude. Come on.
Right. And so that travel is really tough. There are broadcaster
all I hear,
semantics that we don't need to get into.
Excuses over here. Come on.
I love where I am now.
I know.
Let's put it
I'm
that
not
way.
trying to take away from where you're at now, but I would say if opportunities come along, sometimes it's worth inquiring.
Yeah. All right. You hear that, Kyle? I'm trying to leave.
I don't think
probing
anyone was trying
questions
to pin you and
there.
trying to say you're going to leave.
Look at that.
If that's your ultimate
was
goal.
that secretly Brock Heward on that first question?
maybe.
He told Aaron hey, I'm not going to be here with Lefko. I always have to probe. Make sure you ask this question. So good job, Brock by proxy on that one. That is a frequent topic for some reason.
I think
when G and Brock are in here.
Okay.
They love hearing about my life.
I mean, I like hearing about your life too, but yeah. Well,
I don't want Charlie to feel left out. All these questions for me.
At the end of the day, Lefko, we just want to see you happy. Okay? And you seem happy right
Thanks,
now.
Mom.
Let's go.
How's the world? Sorry, how's the world going? I'll just interrupt real quick because someone just texted in. I'm determined to beat this Wordle now. Are you still?
No, I'm not. I'm focused on the show.
Oh, true. Good point. All right. Well, I wanted to provide an update before we got off the air, but that'll be the tease. You'll have to stay tuned for some time in the future to see if Charlie Furbush got the Wordle.
I mean, I can actively do it, but
No,
I want to put some
Please
effort
pay attention.
into it. If I want to be into your group here, I can't.
That's true.
I can't just not try.
Okay. All right. We'll keep it moving on here.
This is a quick one from Jason. He's just very pumped for the Mariners.
Here's the thing. The Seattle Mariners are going to kick some tail this year.
Yeah?
The Seattle Mariners are going to kick some tail this year. I like it. Way to bring the energy.
Honestly, I was so excited for the season that I think I was trying to lay this out there at the start of the show. I don't think I said it properly because it was 6 a.m. and I wasn't functioning well. Yes, excuses. But in a sense, I hated spring training, like going through it all, because let's just get to the season. It was a great spot to be in, that there were no position battles. You weren't looking forward to spring because the season before was so bad. If you're the Rockies or the White Sox, you're desperate for something new. So you're like, yes, spring training. Oh, my God, we can have new people out here. We're excited about the possibility. But you were at a place already with the Mariners where everything was known. And everyone talked about expectations. So I'm like, all right, I don't need spring training. We don't need all this. We don't care what so-and-so is doing. Just get me to here this moment, opening day. So that's why yesterday I was like, all right, finally, it's here. And I was more of, all right, I'm glad it's here, instead of appreciating the circumstance that led up to this and why it's such a voice cracker, why it's such a big deal that this opening day has so many expectations around it.
For sure. And spring training, you sound like a player right now. I think all the players know
Right.
spring training is just a little too long. We're all ready to go. So if you shorten it
it's
by
for
a
you
few
guys, right? It's for the
Yeah,
pitchers.
Well, for everyone. We want to get the season started too. So I get it, man.
All right.
Yeah.
So there we go. There's our excitement about the Mariners.
Peek inside the mind of Mike Lefko. That was quite the journey. All right, we have mostly Mariners messages, but Billy, with the Sonics coming back, wanted to ask you guys a question about that.
Hey, how y'all doing, Brock and Salk?
Well, Brock and Salk, but you're
so
subbing.
with the return of the Sonics, it immediately got me thinking, who would you like to see them play first? Would it be, renew that I-5 rivalry with that team down south, or OKC? Or as I like to call it, Old King County, But anyways, first time doing this, so I hope I did it right. Hey, y'all have a good night.
All right.
That was awesome.
What do you think?
I mean, I think the OKC would be a fun matchup to see. Wouldn't? I mean, I don't know if they would actually do that, but that would be fun. I mean, obviously, you mentioned maybe the Blazers, right? I mean, I don't know. Well, who do you think? I mean, it's hard to tell who I'd want to see. I just want to see the Sonics in the building.
Yeah, the first point of that. Are you one who was excited by the news? Are you still kind of hesitant of, well, we've been down this path before? Because Adam Silver made a specific note in his lawyerly speak, because he's got that background he's got to be aware of not committing to something. He did not say they're expanding right now. He said we're exploring expansion in Vegas and Seattle. So I know there's a line of people out here who are, because they've been scorned before and because it's been such a protracted, long, take us over through this next one, keep stringing us along process, that they're just not going to come back until a team is on the court. Were you excited by the news this week?
100%.
Okay, good.
Excited.
I was too.
I'm ecstatic. Like, this is the next step needed. And, I think when you look at bringing the Sonics back, this is just not going to be a huge thing for everyone here as fans, but this is going to be a cash cow money making for the org and the people that own the team, right? I think you're going to see exactly what happened when the Kraken came back, or Kraken came to be. I mean, season tickets sold out instantaneously. So I would not be surprised to see that, happen year over year over year. And as somebody that grew up on the East Coast, I was infatuated with the Sonic and the Supersonics brand. So it's just it's such a treat to get that team back in action.
Yeah, I'll say this too, the second part of the question. I don't think you can force a rivalry. Geographic proximity doesn't make a rivalry. There's got to be some sticking point or some issue that forces the hatred, which you have built in with OKC. No matter who steps on the court for the Thunder, they're going to be hated. So I think that is a perfect starting point for a rivalry. No matter, you could have a terrible team, you could have a great team. OKC, year in and year out, now they come to Seattle. Every single time they come to Seattle, there's hatred. because of everything that happened. I love that. I don't think there'll be any kind of rivalry with the Blazers unless these two teams are in the same division. And then after years of being competitive, yeah. But I watched what they tried to do with the Kraken. They tried to kind of force a Kraken-Vancouver rivalry. That didn't work. There's no Canucks-Kraken rivalry. What happened was, because of a very contentious and dirty play in the playoffs, there's now kind of a Kraken-Avalanche rivalry. So that's something, at least from the Seattle side, there is a rivalry kind of there because there's some hate. There's some dislike between the Kraken and the Avalanche. There's your rivalry. I think that's what happens because there's already built-in hate between the Sonics and the Thunder.
Yeah, it would be a great first game to watch inside a Climate Pledge to see, what do you say, what do you call him? Old King County? I love it.
Good,
That's such a clever thing as putting it.
And if the NBA is smart, and I think they will be, whenever this happens, if it is the start of the 28-29 season, the very first game of the NBA season will be here, and it will be the Sonics hosting the Thunder. Can you imagine that? All the eyeballs on that one. Most anticipated game of maybe any sporting event in a long time here.
Yeah, and it would just continue to, we talk about how Seattle has become this sports mecca, and the Seahawks are the big reason why that they have, made the city into what it is. And the Mariners are going to be there. I'm confident at the end of the year we're going to be, really, really enjoying what the Mariners product they gave us all year. But when you bring the Kraken into it, and then if you bring back the Sonics, one of the great teams of the NBA, it's going to make, I think, Seattle continue to be a desired place where players want to come and play.
Yeah.
All right, Chris left a message about how Lefko filling in brought his mind to one of your hosts on your show, and how the technological difficulties that he sometimes has might not be the greatest with this streaming stuff already bothering people a lot.
Hi, this is Chris in Kennewick, and here's the thing. Knowing that Lefko is going to be in on the Brock and Salk Show this Friday, I'm super excited about baseball, but I also have this image of Dave just fuming this morning, mowing his lawn before heading into the station in his jorts, saying, how do I watch the Mariners? I'm signing up for this streaming service, and then tomorrow night it's on Apple TV, and then Sunday it's on Peacock Plus, and I can just see the steam coming out of his ears. But anyway, go Mariners, excited for opening day. I know they're going to win, so you guys are talking about a win today.
Is that pretty accurate?
Chris, that was terrifyingly accurate. Now, I didn't call Wyman. I don't know if he's wearing the jorts. I assume he is.
I thought that would be the most accurate thing.
You're right.
What he said.
No, but yeah, that's very true. So knowing that I would not see him today or the rest of the weekend, before we ended the show yesterday, I said, Dave, just gotta let you know, the Mariners games are on like 3 different networks this weekend. So they're on Apple TV Friday, and then I steadied him and said, Wyman, get some bad news. He already had this big rant about Peacock. He couldn't watch a playoff game a couple years ago. He was on the phone with Peacock for like hours, or his cable provider, and then he realized he had Peacock, but he missed literally half a football game trying to watch. Yeah, Wyman, you got bad news. Mariners game's on Peacock on Sunday, so start trying to figure it out now.
Yeah. Oh, that's classic.
Oh, hopefully
classic
he
Wyman.
is, but yeah, I can just picture him like standing in his jorts in front of the TV, clicking the channels. Trying to see what channel Peacock's on.
To be fair, there were some very real issues for some people yesterday, it sounds like. And I know there was some frustration aimed at the Mariners, but it's really MLB's fault. Evan Drellich from The Athletic did a whole piece on them waiting till the last day to announce all of this stuff being a really big problem across the board. It wasn't just in Seattle.
Yeah, it's a timing thing, right? Like, had you been able to sift through it in the span of a week, you can go through all the processes, and we don't have to dive into it too much because a lot of people are frustrated right now. I get that. I do understand because there were a lot of vague things thrown out there because MLB did not provide the information to all these teams. They own all the broadcast rights now for the teams, the Mariners, and 7 or 8 more teams, and they rolled it out for everyone at the same time and very late. I mean, you might be going about your day, trying to work, whatever else you have planned. You don't have time to sit there and figure out, all right, do I already have it? This channel that supposedly is popping up that won't pop up until the day of. If I am streaming, Do I have to update my streaming plan, which you might have had to do on Fubo or anywhere else you're streaming? And then the Mariners TV thing, purchasing that, you had to go buy MLB TV, or if you got it for free. So some people get it for free with T-Mobile. Then you have to buy a Mariners portion of it. I understand how that was all frustrating, but had you been given the information maybe 5 days in advance, you have time to deal with it. So hopefully that is ironed out quickly. The bigger issue is where baseball's being seen on like 10 different networks. That's not anything we can solve. That's the problem of sports today.
Yeah,
I mean, the NFL's doing this.
The NFL's doing the same thing, right? That's the Peacock issue with Dave that we joke about. That they put playoff games now on Netflix and on Peacock and on YouTube TV.
Yeah, I think they're just trying to follow the audience, where the audience is and where they're going, and it's conversely making it a little more challenging for us as fans to know where to go and where to find the game. So, I would imagine that they are learning a ton from how this kind of regional sports networks has kind of gone away for some teams and how MLB has taken it over. But the point is, you can still find Mariner games. You just might have to do a little bit of work, and you do it once, and you're good to go.
And you can always turn to us here.
Yeah, even better.
Radio, baseball's great on radio.
Exactly.
That's my solution.
And you know, Rick Riz in his 41st season, who better to
Actually,
hear?
I do like this. So Michael Simeone brought this up yesterday. I didn't realize this. If you do have Mariners TV now, and it's a very cool alternative, it's what they do on Apple TV, which you can do that tonight, where you can get the local radio broadcast of the TV picture. So if you're sick of Goldie and, Ryan Roland Smith for maybe an inning, listen to us on the radio. I'm not saying don't watch them because they're terrific, but so are our broadcasters. Riz and Gary are the best. So maybe go back and forth. It's very easy now. And I was tinkering around with it last night just at the game, watching the TV broadcast, click the little satellite icon, and then all of a sudden, boom, there's the radio broadcast. And I popped it on, I think, during the third inning because I was like, oh, there's Gary, even though I was sitting right above him. I was like, there's Gary. So you can hear the radio broadcast on the TV picture. Maybe listen for an inning, pop back to the TV broadcasters, just alternate, have some fun with it. And I think you can do it on your phone as well. I tried it on my phone. So there's not an antenna icon, but there's like the 3 dots for more options. Click on that. It says home radio. Do that because we put out a great product here at Seattle Sports.
Absolutely.
Charlie's a part of it.
Yeah.
Charlie's on the post-game show tonight.
I'll be on there tonight. And yeah, like you said, Rick and Gary, they do such a good job. Kudos to Rick Riz, what he's done over the course of his career, and left so many memories for everyone in the Pacific Northwest. So, congrats, Riz. We love you. And we'll be tuning into every game for sure to hear your last season. And hopefully it's he goes out with a bang. How cool would that be?
That's, what you've been saying, the 50 seasons.
Right?
The Seahawks won a Super Bowl in their 50th season. The Mariners can do it. And, yeah, do it for Riz.
And it's the year, I think, that is the year for all of us to be as hopeful as we've ever been. I think there are years past where we think this is the team, we think this is the opportunity in terms of the AL West and whatnot, but for what they did last year and how far they went, it just feels as if this is the team that bring the Mariners where they've never been before.
Also, another plug here before we get to the next one real quick. Please listen tonight for Charlie, the Iron Man Furbush, who's just not going to sleep because he was here at 6 a.m. to do this show, and then he's doing post-game tonight.
Let's go.
Luckily, it's a 6:40 first pitch. Those 7:10s just seem so late.
Hopefully, in between that time, I'll figure out the Wordle, and I'll let you know the answer.
There we go. All right, so
we'll tune in to hear.
People were wondering, am I going to hear a Wordle update? There's a tease for you. Tune in tonight.
That's right.
On the Mariners post-game show. Charlie Furbush will have solved the Wordle by then.
I hope.
Yeah, we hope. You got 12 hours. Good luck.
All right, I want to make sure you guys get to hear TP and his Brendan Donovan song. Let me know what you think.
On base, Brendan. On base, Brendan. On base, Brendan, getting down with the OBB. Don't you know what it means to be on base continually? 'Cause that's why he's getting down, OBB. On base, Brendan. OBB, yes, it's on base, Brendan. OBB, yes, on base, Brendan. OBB, on base, Brendan. See what it means to be OBB, on base, Brendan.
I fear this is a banger. It's going to be stuck in my head the rest of the day.
I think we just need to throw it a little kick drum, a little beat in the side, and then, we got a banger in the making.
I'm a little scared because I know what's going to happen. inevitably I'm going to be just like walking down the street or like in the gym, and that will pop into my head, and I'm just going to blurt out, on base, Brendan, OBB. And everybody's going to be like, what? This person.
And you're going to say, you didn't know?
Can you kick him out? Yeah. Can you kick him out of the gym? I'm a little concerned about that guy.
Well, I
That
think we'd all love that. If we just see that all season, we just see Donovan on base all the time.
Yeah.
I think everyone that are Manor fans is going to go, yeah, this is cool. So maybe this is the start of everything we didn't know we needed.
That could be how something gets started. It's kind of on Donovan now to perform. I got to be honest. We put the legwork in there. Thank you very much to TP for that song. You know how the Seahawks had this song, what was it, the one you guys played, right? Welcome to the Dark Side, or no,
Oh, yeah. I was actually on vacation when they kind of...
Yeah, the MOB.
They leaned into that.
Yeah, that became so catchy, and I didn't do it justice. It was very good, but it became kind of an anthem to the playoff run, and then the Super Bowl, because it was catchy and the Seahawks did well. So
maybe that's
if Brendan Donovan performs,
or we got Donovan's new walk-up song. There it is, right? play that in
Donovan's
T-Mobile.
new walk-up song. I don't know. Ooh. Well, no, we will use it. I think unofficially this could become the Brendan Donovan anthem. So
unofficial.
Thank
We
you.
also, if you want to squeeze in one last one, Sam, he started sending us some messages partially in Italian during the epic run by Team Italy in the World Baseball Classic, and he's very pumped about Dom Canzone.
Here's the thing. I'm actually holding a chicken right now, but that's besides the point. You boys see that absolute tater that my guy Dom can control the zone smashed on Friday night? Now, I don't know if you boys know this, but every time an Italian-American player hits a grand salami, a nonna asks somebody if they've eaten. You know, it's a kind of the whole bell rings, angel wings type of deal. But anyway, I'll tell you, I am definitely the capotreno of the Dom Canzone hype train. I think he's going to have a monster year. I see 30 bombs coming. Anyway, that's all I got for now. Ciao. Oh, and a big woof to the boys in the group chat.
There you go. There's a prediction. Good way to end this show. You had your nickname earlier. We got a lot of nicknames that came up earlier in the show, so appreciate all that. Charlie, this is great, man.
Amazing.
A full 4.
Yes.
Brought you in.
Let's go.
Out of the bullpen.
Thank you.
You do so well.
Thank you for everyone that tuned in today, wherever you're tuning in from. We appreciate you.
Thank you for all the Wordle participation, the Dom Canzone nicknames, all of that. Charles and Maura, great help as always. Good luck to Charlie Furbush on his Wordle for the rest of the day. And what a perfect end there with some Italian to lead into Stacey Ross, who loves to play up the Italian heritage as well. She's going to have some fun with the Dom Canzone home runs last night. Stay tuned. Bump and Stacey up next here on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Get to the chopper!
It's the biggest development yet since the Sonics left for OK.
Wait a minute.
You better watch your mouth, sunshine.
One step closer.
The NBA Board of Governors did vote yes to explore expansion here in Seattle.
Stay up on the very latest on the NBA's potential return to Seattle at seattlesports.com. And the conversation continues on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
We are on a magic carpet ride!
Hi, Sarah here with Safeway. We're proud to partner with Champions of Change co-founder Doug Baldwin to help nourish Washington students through the Nourishing Champions program.
Thanks, Sarah. And here's the reality. Every day, students across our state are staying after school for extracurriculars on empty stomachs, and some of them don't know where their next meal will come from. Food insecurity is reaching crisis levels, and the impact on our youth will extend far beyond this moment. The good news is that there's an answer in the federally funded after-school meals programs. But right now, Washington schools' participation is very low, reaching only 2% of the students who qualify.
That's where Nourishing Champions comes in. We're offering grants that not only fund food, but also resource and training support for the schools to offer an after-school meal program for years to come.
Our goal is to reach 10,000 more students in the first year of these grants and then grow from there. School staff can learn more and apply today at championsofchangefoundation.org and navigating to the Nourishing Champions tab. That's championsofchangefoundation.org and click on the Nourishing Champions tab.
Running a business means wearing multiple hats. So if you're like me, you probably started out using your personal phone, taking client calls and texts nonstop. As my business grew, I needed something smarter. That's when I switched to Quo, the #1 business phone system. Quo works right on your phone or computer. No carrying two phones, no clunky landline, just one easy app you can try for free. Your team can share one number and handle calls and texts together like a shared inbox. Any teammate can jump into the conversation so customers get faster responses. And Quo's AI assistant summarizes your calls and responds to customers 24/7, so you never miss a lead or opportunity. All this starts at just $15 a month. That's basically 2 coffees. You can even keep your current business phone number. Find out why 90,000 businesses trust Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try Quo for free at quo.com/sports. That's quo.com/sports to try Quo free. QUO.com/SPORTS.
Jackson Hewitt has a great tax prep deal, $149 or less. Missing out is like ignoring the check engine light in your car. You'll regret it. Seriously, the price is only $149 or less, no matter how complicated, so don't wait. Like when you get a password expires today alert or you're shopping online and there's only one item left. It's like your taxes are in the cart, just complete the purchase. Hurry, this deal for $149 or less is like your phone at 1%. It's about to power down. Limited time offer for new clients on federal returns. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com/149.
You bought an RV, and you got an automatic discount from Progressive by bundling it with your home or auto insurance. That's great, but a serious word of warning every RVer should heed. You don't need to talk about things like dry weight or dump stations. And you don't need one of those expensive water filter straws either. Because the most extreme thing most RVers encounter is a campsite without hookups. So just enjoy yourself. And Progressive's automatic discount when you bundle your RV, boat, or motorcycle with your home or auto insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states or situations.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
ZipRecruiter. Bring your visions to life with smart business buying tools and technology from Amazon Business. From fast, free shipping to in-depth buying insights and automated purchase approvals, we deliver everything you need to achieve your goals. Go to AmazonBusiness.com for support.
Save $10 on a pair of Bosch Focus wiper blades. Our professional parts people will even install them for free at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Jackson Hewitt has a great tax prep deal, $149 or less. Missing out is like ignoring the check engine light in your car. You'll regret it. Seriously, the price is only $149 or less, no matter how complicated, so don't wait. Like when you get a password expires today alert or you're shopping online and there's only one item left. It's like your taxes are in the cart, just complete the purchase. Hurry, this deal for $149 or less is like your phone